we can probably sing something. So we can maybe, we can sing some Jara.
Yeah.
Let it be for some time. नहीं तो जय राधा जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जय गोपी जन वल्लभ गिरिवरधारी जन वल्लभ यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा वनचारी यमुना तीरा। जय शिला प्रभुपाद की जय श्री राधा मदन मोहन की जय। We'll start now. Yeah. I know because people will.
Prabhu, how many are online?
Okay. Okay, so we're discussing core concepts of devotional service. Okay, before starting that, let me offer obeisances. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namah श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम् वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं श्रीकृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्रीराधाकृष्णपदान् सहगण ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितंश्च जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर वासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Okay, so we have been discussing core concepts of devotional service, and I think we'll go till 10 o'clock perhaps. So if there's any question in between, you can ask me, so that doesn't become monotonous. But if you don't have question, I'll ask you. No problem. So I'll not make it dead. Okay, so I'll just flashback, that's all. Summarize what I've been talking about. There are 8 concepts of devotional service, core concepts. And first question is, why this seminar? Why this seminar? Because Prabhupada says, advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on the attitude of the follower. So to get a proper attitude, we must have knowledge. Because you have to fight sword with a sword. You have to fight thoughts with thoughts. You have to fight poison with poison. That's all. So, if you want to get a proper attitude, you need proper thoughts. And if you need proper thoughts, you need proper knowledge. And that is why we are discussing this seminar. We need some knowledge to become perfect. Okay. So the first core concept, okay, first I defined what is attitude. Attitude means intentions. That's the meaning of attitude, intentions, which is different from thoughts, feelings and actions. So, I'll just skip this. Okay. So there are 8 core concepts which I listed previously, which first 2 we almost did, first 2 of them. Today we'll do 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th one. And I'll not repeat them. But the first core concept is, I am yours and you are mine. Ami to tumar, tumi to amar. So this is surrender. Krishna, I am yours and you are mine. This is the foundation of devotional service, the foundation of the temple of devotion. This sentiment we should have, this understanding actually. I belong to you, Krishna, I am your servant, and you are my master, you are my controller, you are everything to me. Mic, yeah. Yeah, you can take a mic, yeah, that's a good thing, I think. Yeah, Prabhu. Yes.
So do all these 8 points come under the category of attitude of the follower, or attitude of the follower is a different by itself? It comes
No. All these 8 points together will form a proper attitude. That's all. Just like when we go to a feast, we get chapati, rice, dal, sabji, and everything. And then that is a meal, full diet. Otherwise we don't get nourished. So together these 8 concepts, if you are able to digest it, that's another point, if your digestion is strong. I'm giving you, but you have to digest it, that's another thing. So if you digest it, then we can get up with a proper attitude. Our soul will be nourished. So That's the idea. This is together. We can't miss any one of them. So just like in your America, you have that health food, what's that called? No, health food markets. Food health. Food health, herbals and medicines, you get all these things. Food health. So health foods. So you have multivitamin tablets. A, B, C, D, E, F. And you want all. You want all to nourish. To nourish. For example, pregnant female, she needs a multivitamin tablet because she's having a baby. That's all. So similarly, we have to nourish our soul, and these 8 core concepts will nourish the soul. Okay. So the first concept is, I am yours, you are mine. When you surrender to God, you have to express that surrender. You have to do some. This is actually like last time I saw. This is happening. Oh yeah, thank you. So you have to surrender. But you have to express your surrender in actions. Actions are required. Surrender, sentiment without actions. Surrender without actions is sentiment. And actions without surrender is useless. That is, you're like a machine, you're a zombie. Because you're doing something, but you don't understand what you're doing. It benefits, but doesn't lead you to goal. If anybody comes to Krishna, he's doing something even without understanding. He's not at loss, but the point is he doesn't become perfect. Our goal is not some benefit. Our goal is a goal, that is love. So that is a teaching of Lord Chaitanya. Lord Chaitanya never came to tell us, okay, you do devotion and there'll be some benefit. No. He didn't come for this. He came for giving us love of God. That is his gift. And we have to accept it. And if we don't accept that gift, he will feel hurt. That's all. If I give you a gift, if I bring from India, all customs and weight, it's a problem. And I tell this gift, I've brought it very safely for you. And you tell, oh, I don't want. Well, then it hurts me more than you. So Mahaprabhu, he brought love for us. 𝗙𝗲𝗪 𝗪𝗲𝗀 from spiritual word. He's giving us that love, and that special type of love. So what's speciality in that love? Can anybody tell me? What is so special what Mahaprabhu has come to give? That love of God. Previously to Mahaprabhu, didn't anybody give love to us? Madhva, Ramanuja, they were also talking about love. There's no question of devotion without love. But what is Mahaprabhu's speciality? What kind of love he is giving us? Footsteps of gopis? Okay. Can you tell what kind of love? Falling in the, what kind of love gopis have? That's the question. Yeah. So Prabhupada says, Mahaprabhu has come to give us love in separation. That is what he has come to give us. Unnata ujvala rasam, the highest conception of love humanity has ever heard. And that highest conception he is giving to lowest people, like us, who can't even speak truth, who don't have any conception of austerities, and absolutely unclean in heart, maybe externally you're clean, but, and of course, no mercy. That's all. We are like that, hard-hearted, no? And to such people, Mahaprabhu is telling, love in separation, this is gift for you. How do you handle that? So Prabodhanand Saraswati, he has written a book, Chaitanya Chandramrit. And he writes there, Mahaprabhu is giving love to those people who have never even heard about dharma, religion. What to speak of practicing religion? People who have never heard about dharma, who are always irreligious. More than that, who take irreligion to be religion. These kind of people Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is giving love and separation, you can imagine. Who else is more merciful than Lord Chaitanya? So is Lord Chaitanya mad? That's the question. Because if you give such a high conception to people who can't understand anything, what's the use of that gift, no? If I give a laptop to a child, small child, 4 years, or 3 years child, what he'll do? He'll try to eat it, that's all. He doesn't know that's a laptop. If you give a cell phone to a small child, he'll just put it in his mouth, that's all. He doesn't know what can we say? The value of that thing. So we don't understand the value of love, because if we would have understood what is love, we would not wait to get that. We would be very, very enthusiastic to get that love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, my dear Krishna, the proof that I don't understand what is your love, I don't have any value for your love, there's a proof for that. So Krishna says, what proof? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, well, I'm still alive. That's the proof. Because if I would have understood what is love, if I would have valued love, then without love, I would have died. You can't live, no? Is it? So if you lose all your credit in America credit is credit value, what's that? If it all becomes zero, credit value. Credit score, if it becomes zero, you'll die. People will have heart attacks. What do? Because you know that's the most important thing what you have in America, you know. So, or if your bank account goes nil, if you lose your job, no job, you know. But what about Krishna? What about love? We don't have love and still we are happy. That's the unfortunate part, no? So of course, chant and be happy, that's okay. We are happy, chanting and be happy, we are happy. But at the same time, we are happy that we have come to Krishna. But we are sad that we have not attained Him. Or He has not accepted us. Both things should be there. That's what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to tell us, no? And that is why God created us with 2 eyes. No? Why didn't He give 1 eye to us? Of course, there are some biological reasons, monocular vision. With 1 eye, you can't see depth. You know this, no? If you close 1 eye, you will not be able to perceive depth properly. With 2 eyes, you can perceive depth. That is monocular vision and binocular vision, no? Binocular. So Krishna has given us 2 eyes. From 1 eye, you see happiness. From another eye, you see sadness. Both you have to perceive. From 1 eye, you see Krishna is merciful. From another eye, you also have to remember Krishna is very strict. Both things. He can forgive, but when He comes to punish you, He'll punish you like anything. That also He can do. He can do anything. So that's the point. So we should always remember this point. And how to express that surrender. So I was talking about work, sentiments with work. You have to express it. Express your surrender to Krishna. How? That's what second point we were discussing. Krishna Kam, Krishna Nam and Krishna Dham. 3 things you have to do to express your surrender. Krishna, I love you, I surrender to you. Krishna asks, what do you want to do? Okay, I want to do 3 things. Krishna Kam means I want to work for you. Krishna Nam means I want to chant your holy names. Krishna Dham means, what Krishna Dham means? Dham actually means holy place. But here Dham means association of devotees. Because without association of devotees, holy place is not holy place. And with association of devotees, an unholy place can become holy. Okay, so I just discussed the first point, Krishna Kam. We'll go to the next point. We'll come to Krishna Nam. Okay, chanting holy names of God. So, this is all from Prabhupada. Because I'm quoting Prabhupada and I'll show you we miss many things. No? So when we chant the holy names of Lord, we should remember three things. Always remember three things. If you don't remember these three things, we can't advance. Our chanting it was useless and it will remain useless. That's what we will be, So, the first point is, holy name of Krishna is non-different from Krishna. Always remember that. What this means, Srila Prabhupada is saying in Gorakhpur, as soon as you approach deity or the name, you should know fully well that Krishna is present. So when Krishna is there in form of deity, we are conscious Krishna is there, no? But when we are chanting, we are not conscious Krishna is there. And that is why chanting of holy names is actually for Paramahamsas. Bhagavatam is for Paramahamsas. It begins like that. Mahamuni krite amala Paramahamsanam. But Vyasadeva and Mahaprabhu, by their mercy, they have given this to us. It is for pure devotees to dance and chant His holy name in ecstasy. Generally, in Vedic tradition, for people who are in bodily concept of life, for them there were rituals, procedures. It was a gradual process. But we are being directly we are there. We catch a lift directly there. So we have to remember that. Even while chanting the holy names, we have to remember that Krishna is present. Now what this means? Can anybody tell me what this means? Srila Prabhupada is saying we should worship the holy name with great attention. What that means? What do you mean by this? Holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Practically, what do you do with this point when you chant? Can anybody tell me what do you mean by that? What do I do while chanting to keep this point in my mind? Something you have to do. You have to apply this point in your life. How to do that? Visualize?
Visualize Him while chanting.
Visualize Krishna? No, that's not right.
Being attentive.
Pay attention. Okay, fine. Pay attention. Yeah. So I need more detail because if you say pay attention, this happens. If in ISKCON there are so many lectures. Pay attention. Pay attention. And then what do you do?
By hearing it.
What do you do? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. How do you get attention? That's the point. We have heard so many times pay attention, but how do you get attention? That's the question. So yeah. So the point is, what do you do with this point? Holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna, yeah? You were telling something?
Yeah, you when you are chanting, if you are hearing properly, you are concentrating yourself, then you can think you're being attentive. Otherwise, maybe you are sitting, but your mind is jumping from one place to another.
No, what do I mean by this? Holy name of Krishna is not different from Krishna. Now, Prabhupada says this, no? While chanting, you have to remember Krishna is not different from His holy name. What do you understand by that? My question is, what do you understand by this point?
Similarly, once Prabhupada quote when Prahlad Maharaj, Narasimhadev came and he touched the head of the Prahlad Maharaj, it's like the touching of the. So similarly, when you chant the Hare Krishna, similarly you are in contact of the Krishna.
That's okay, but then what do I do in my mind? I imagine Krishna, I touch Him. We are supposed to do that? No. Prabhupada says, don't imagine. Everything will be revealed at a particular point of time. You understanding, all of you, what I'm asking? So my point is, when you read these books, Prabhupada books, we have to also contemplate how to apply this in my life. Otherwise you can keep on reading entire life with no action. That's the point. That's very important to understand. That is why Prabhupada says in his books again and again, Shravanam, Mananam. What's after that? Shravanam, no, this is different. Shravanam, Mananam, dash. Quiz for you. I told I'll ask questions. Prabhupada says so many times in his book, Shravanam, Mananam, dash. This is from Upanishads. I'll give you a hint. Chandogya Upanishad. Shravanam, Mananam, Nididhyasanam cha. Prabhupada quotes, this is a process of advancing, hearing, then Mananam means contemplating, And nididhyasanam means when you contemplate, what do you contemplate? How to apply this in my life practically. That is nididhyasanam. That is what Upanishad says, Prabhupada says. So this means is, when we chant, we have to remember that we are in the presence of God. We can't see Him, but He can see us. That's the idea we have to remember. We don't have to imagine that we are seeing Him, but at least we can know that He is seeing us. He is there. He perceives us. He is conscious of us. We may not be conscious of Him. So Krishna consciousness actually starts sometimes with Krishna, not with us. When you're chanting, you understand? When you're not chanting, it starts from us. We are conscious of Krishna. But when we are chanting, it starts from Krishna. Because when you start chanting, you are not conscious of Krishna, but He is conscious of you. We are simply chanting Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Now it happens, no? We are repeating names, but we are not conscious. He is conscious. So that's devotion. That is the game. Sometimes servant starts the devotion, the game. Sometimes master starts the game. But anyway, game should be always there. If there's no game, there's nothing, no? That is Krishna consciousness. I'll talk about that. You got my point? When we chant, we have to remember we are in service of God. We are in service of God. So, okay, first. Second point, Srila Prabhupada says, we are the secondary hearer, Krishna is a primary hearer. So when we chant, Prabhupada, this is just one quotation in an entire book, in all his books. This is just one. Prabhupada never repeats this. And somehow I caught this. Prabhupada says it is natural psychology in every individual case that a person likes to hear and enjoys personal glories enumerated by others. Isn't it? If I glorify you, you'll be happy. Anybody will become happy. Automatically. That is natural instinct, and the Lord being also an individual personality like others is not an exception to this psychology. This is so nice. Because when I came to ISKCON, I used to think, why should I chant? Hare Krishna, why should I do that? No. I mean to say, what do I achieve by that? So, and the point was, I used to think, what will happen by chanting, first of all? And the second point I got is confusion. When I was chanting, I chant and hear. That's the point. So, after many years of chanting, I thought, my God, I am chanting and I am hearing. What about Krishna? Because chanting means glorification, no? Glorification means you have to make Krishna hear. And here I am chanting and I am hearing, that's my own business. Where is Krishna in the picture? That's not glorification. And I was surprised, my God, so many years I am chanting, what I am doing. If while chanting you don't know that to whom you are addressing, and you are addressing someone, you are glorifying someone, that chanting is very neophyte chanting. You don't understand, So chant and hear, this is the bottom line. But you have to remember, when we hear, sound goes from the ear to your heart, and Krishna also hears that. And that's more important that Krishna hears. It's not important that we hear. Anyway, we are not able to hear sometimes. No? We keep on chanting, our mind goes here and there. But let us remember, Krishna is hearing our chanting. If He hears, you can hear. If He sees, you can see. If He doesn't hear, it's impossible for soul to hear. Prabhupada gives example, no? So Prabhupada gives example, sunlight. So I can see this object, why? Not because I can see it, because the presence of sunlight. If there is no sunlight, even my eyes are perfect, object is there, I will not be able to see. It is mercy of sunlight that I can see this object. It is mercy of Krishna that He is hearing. You can hear my lecture because Krishna is hearing. If He stops hearing, you will not be able to hear. That's all. Because hearing ability comes from Krishna. This is quantum physics, no? This is what quantum physics says. Scientists are somehow coming, Because God is watching this world. That is why this collapse. The quantum physics, it is manifested in front of you. And that's pretty much what Bhagavatam says. So we have to remember that while chanting. Krishna is hearing. I'm chanting, He is hearing. Actually, He is hearing. We are also hearing. That's the point. Not we are hearing and Krishna is also hearing. If you do that, then you put Krishna in second position, and that's not a good point. That's not a good point. You see, attitude matters. You can say, okay, it doesn't matter, forget this, let's just chant. But then, bhavagrahi janardana. Krishna sees the attitude. Krishna doesn't see what you are doing. Only. He doesn't see only what you are doing. I mean to say, everybody is chanting, but some people are crawling, some people are walking, some people are running. Why? Makes a difference. Makes a difference. And we are chanting so many years. What's the difference between our chanting when we were new and our chanting now? There has to be got some difference, but we can't change our beats. We can't change the holy name. Mahamantra will remain the same. We can change our heart, the understanding that we have to deepen. So that's the idea. And the third thing is, do not try to be the master of holy name, but be a servant. This is the only quotation, only statement which Prabhupada gives in Chaitanya Charitamrita. I didn't find it anywhere. And on this statement, Bhaktisiddhanta Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written articles after articles on this one statement of Prabhupada, which Prabhupada never repeats. So that's why, Prabhupada books you have to be very careful to read his books. He doesn't repeat. And that's a sign of great people. They don't repeat. Great people speak once. If you understand, okay. If you don't understand, thank you very much. Prabhupada used to say after lecture, thank you very much. So you have heard, that's all. You have to understand that. So many times he repeats, but many times he doesn't.
But you just said that Bhaktivinoda Thakur repeated many times and Bhaktisiddhanta repeated many times. So how does that solve the contradiction?
Prabhupada also repeats many times, many things. But many things they don't. They are so merciful. They repeat, they understand we are fools, we can't understand. That's the idea. So they repeat, They get frustrated, but they repeat. So, do not try to be the master of holy name, but be a servant. So what do you mean by this statement? What do you mean by it? I mean to say, okay, Prabhupada has said only once. So do we, okay fine, don't worry about that. We can't do that. Whatever Prabhupada says, that's important, even his full stop. So we have to understand everything. So what does Prabhupada mean by this? What's that? Can anybody tell me what do you mean by that? Practically.
Don't expect immediate result. Wait for the mercy or the realization to come in.
Okay, fine. Yeah. This can be one meaning. When we chant, we're not supposed to expect immediate results. It's not that we chant and we'll jump up 20 feet like Jagannath Babaji. He was doing that. Okay, fine. Don't expect. Anything else? Yeah, this is good. He's a master. Whenever he wants to give bliss, he'll give. If he doesn't want, fine. We'll keep on chanting. Anything else? So this, okay, nobody. So this, there's a name for this. Naam Prabhu. Bhaktisiddhanta used to call Naam as Naam Prabhu. He is my master. And why I used to call he is my master? That whenever we start chanting, we should not think that we have started chanting. That's an illusion. It is by mercy of Krishna we are allowed to chant. And we forget that, no? We take our beatbacks, Hare Krishna, okay, fine. So it's not like that. We have to remember we are allowed to chant. Because if you're not allowed to chant, we can't chant. And when we finish chanting, it's not that we have finished chanting. Krishna doesn't want to leave us. We want to leave him, that's why we finish chanting. As far as he is concerned, he will tell you, chant 24 hours. That's what he says in Gita. Satatam kirtanto, always chant. But anyway, you can't chant, so no problem. When we stop chanting, we have to stop chanting with a heavy heart and not with a blissful heart. You understand? We might feel bliss. Everybody feels bliss while chanting, no problem. But we should not get lost in that bliss, because that's illusion. That is illusion. Sattvam Sukhe sanjayate. Bhagavad Gita says, mode of goodness binds you in happiness. No? That's what Krishna says. So we are not supposed to be lost in that place. We are supposed to focus on reality. And the reality is, we are living holy name. That's a reality. And one of the acharyas, I think Rupa Goswami quotes in Padyavali, he says, any second you don't chant, you leave holy name, you're not contacted with the holy name. He says it is a loss. It is not only loss, it is an offense. It is not only an offense, you are killing your own soul. So that we understand, no? How can we leave chanting holy name? How can we do that if you love Krishna? But anyway, we are living. We have to live because we have to do so many work also as a householder. Yeah, there are other duties. But we are sad. And you have to remember that. Because if you chant and if you have bliss and if you are lost in bliss, you will be defocused from reality. And then you're happy, okay fine. I'm happy I finished my chanting. Oh good, it's a good news, you finished your chanting. No, this is a bad news. Somebody asked Prabhupada, how should we chant? Prabhupada said, you should chant in such a way that you like to chant more. Prabhupada said that. You read Prabhupada books. It's not that I finished chanting, okay, finished. No. So that eagerness should be there. Okay, yes, I should chant more, I should chant more. Why? I'm so unfortunate that I have to leave chanting for my stupid work, This work I have to do to maintain my body. I'm so unfortunate that I'm bound in this body. You see, if you think like that, you can remember what is reality. Reality is I'm bound. And I have to leave this chanting. My God, when will that day come when I can chant 24 hours Krishna? I'll be free from this foundation of my body. Free from birth. That this is old age. You see? If we don't get lost in that bliss, we'll remember we have to get free from birth at this old age. Otherwise, we'll forget this basic fact. And that's all. So both things, not just one thing. It's not that you always have to focus on sadness. You'll become depressed and you will have to go to psychiatric doctor. Keep both in mind. Don't be a, what do we say? In your own word. Prabhupada says, don't get lost in your own word of Krishna consciousness. Balance both. You have to balance. Not there, not here. Okay, so these 3 points, please remember while chanting. Today you chant, remember all these things. Remember, Krishna is with me. He's watching me, he's hearing me. When I chant, I am hearing, he is hearing. And we are obliged to him that he has allowed us to chant his holy names. Okay, Krishna Nam. And then what is Krishna Dham? Krishna Dham means association of devotees. And association of devotees means reading his books, Prabhupada books. Yeah, what's that? It's cut there. There it's proper. Okay. So, I don't know. So, there's a problem, but there's a problem here also. The problem is that not all devotees are carefully studying books. Result being a fall down or at least unsteadiness. This Prabhupada is writing to GBC, so he's not writing to us, he's writing to GBCs. Because they were also not reading books at that time. Perhaps, I don't know. But Prabhupada could sense that in Krishna consciousness we are too enthusiastic to preach. That's good to preach. Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, preaching is the highest activity. But then Prabhupada goes further. Prabhupada says, even higher than that is to first save yourself. Because if you don't save yourself, and if you're preaching, you know what this means? If your own sadhana is not proper, if you're not studying books, and if you're very enthusiastic to preach, it's a good thing you're preaching. You feel good, yes, I have to sacrifice for others. That's not bad. But there's a problem with this idea. To preach without taking care of yourself, this means proud. You're proud. You don't have humbleness. Because a humble devotee will always try to depend on Krishna first. Depend on His mercy to preach. You can't preach without His mercy. And His mercy will descend if you're doing things properly. If you're reading books, if you're doing sadhana properly, then this is a major fall. This is the cause of fall down of most of the devotees. Why brahmacharis marry? Why full-time devotees marry? It's not because of lust, or it's not. It can be, but not. It's not the main cause. After you are 15, 20 years in the movement, still they marry. Why? It's not because of that problem. It is because they lost themselves while preaching. They didn't think about themselves. And that's the problem there. So please read Prabhupada books. Don't take lightly. And Prabhupada knew that's the problem. And he said, that's why Prabhupada says, all devotees connected to Krishna consciousness must read all my books. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, minimum you should read 100 times. Minimum. I mean to say, I heard from Prabhupada disciple. I can't give evidence where it's said. Don't come to me, but it makes the point. Many times Bhagavad Gita, many times Bhagavatam, many times Chaitanya Charitamrita. You have to keep on reading. Oh yeah, Krishna's Kaviraj Goswami gives an example. He says, these books are like sandalwood. The more you rub, the more smell will come. These books are like that. But you have to rub, that's the point. If you don't rub, it's a wood. It's a wood, it's a burden on you. So I forgot that verse. Amrit. So when you make kheer, you know kheer? What's that in English? What's that called? Sweet rice. When you make sweet rice, traditionally you add camphor in that. Camphor. So it becomes very sweet, there's a lot of smell and it becomes very nice. And that is technically called in Bengali, it's called Amrit Keli. Amrit Keli that we offer. So Krishna Consciousness Swami says, Krishna consciousness is like sweet rice. And the knowledge of Krishna, the books are like camphor. When you put, it becomes very tasty. This bliss, then you can get taste. Otherwise, not much. So we have to read. Otherwise, simply eat, sleep, and fall down. That's all. Each and every shloka should be very, very scrutinizingly understood. Understand every verse properly from so many perspectives. You have to go deep. Don't read verses. Dig them. To dig them, and go in the spirit. What is the spirit behind those verses? Not just repeating, cramming. Repeating is good. That's nice. That's also tradition. You repeat words. Just like we repeated Brahma Samhita. Many people might not even, when they are chanting, they may not even have understood what they are chanting, but that's okay. No problem. That's tradition. That's called Parayan. But more important is to understand the spirit. So that's association. So the point is, we have to balance all these three: chanting, preaching, and association. Preaching includes all activities. Deity worship, everything includes in preaching. So please balance all the three. Balance time. And to balance all these three, you have to dedicate a time, just like we were talking. You have to dedicate a time. So in household life, I know it's very difficult to read books and to give a separate time to chanting. So the idea is Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he had a separate room. You can dedicate a separate room for chanting, separate room for reading. And that is why if you go traditionally, all Gaudiya Vaishnavas, they used to sit in the temple and chant. Actually not in the temple, in the deity room. You see, if you see traditional Gaudiya Math people, they have this Garbhagriha and they have the temple room. But all these devotees, so their Garbhagriha means main deity room. It was very big. They used to go inside, sit in front of Krishna and chant. So there's no disturbance. So you have to dedicate a space for that. And that's very important. So people will know, he's chanting. Yeah, I should not disturb. If you're chanting somewhere in a drawing room, somebody will come, oh, what's then so there's a problem. But if your house is small, then you can't do that. That's another problem. What do you do? I don't know. But I'm just giving some suggestions. To create space is a practical idea to balance things. Or another thing is, if you can't create space, you use the created space. So when you have to read, go to a park. America is nice. You have so many nice parks. You can use America for that. In India, you don't get park. They are all dogs in the park. They'll bite you. So you can't go in the park. But here, yeah, if you want to read, okay, just go out of your house. Go out of your house. Go out of that deep, dark well. You have to out of that well. Just go in park, 2 hours, dedicate 2 hours, read, come back. Okay, good. Be with nature, that's a good idea. Leave your cell phone behind. That's something practical I'm telling, because otherwise you'll be engaged. So some practical actions have to be taken to balance things. You can't just, okay, I'll balance from tomorrow and you'll be able to do that. No. Just do something. Okay. This is not only for householders, but for full-time devotees also. In full-time life, you can be super busy with no results. It can be like that. You can keep on running here and there with you don't in the end achieve. And that's everybody knows as full-time life. It's a very hustle bustle. If you're not careful, full-time life is very dangerous. It can be very dangerous. If you are careful, it's a best life. It can work both ways. It can work as a poison, it can work as a nectar. Okay. Third core concept is, okay, fine, I'll just go in this. This Krishna Kam, Krishna Nam, Krishna Dham, somebody can tell me, can argue, this is your speculation. From where did you get this concept? So, well, our argument is that our point is, we got this concept from Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. He used to say this. But then from where did he get? Did he speculate? No, he got it from Bhagavad Gita. It's there in Bhagavad Gita. See, 18.5, Krishna says, acts of sacrifice, charity and penance are not to be given up. Yagge, dan, tapaha is not to be given up. What is the supreme yagge? Sankirtan yagge, Krishna Nam. What is the supreme charity? Yeah, knowledge, giving knowledge. Is it? So, Krishna Dham, association of devotees. What is the supreme austerity? Preaching. Preaching is an austerity. It's an austerity. It's difficult to preach if you are preaching truth. If you are preaching something else, it's easy, but if you are preaching truth, it's very difficult. People don't like it, no? People don't like truth. So, it's difficult. It's okay, but most of the times it's difficult. So, yeah. So, okay, third concept. Tat sukha sukhitvam. Now, can anybody tell me, from where is this sutra taken? From where? Have anybody heard this? Okay, from where? No. Oh, we don't have demigods there or what? Okay. So from where this is taken? What? Some hints. Hints? This is from Prabhupada books. I got you. So you're not reading Prabhupada books. I proved it. It's not a mainstream book, but it's a book, not like Chaitanya Bhagavad Gita. It's not from Chaitanya, it's not from Bhagavad Gita, it's not from Bhagavatam. You know the Narad Bhakti Sutra. This is from Narad Bhakti Sutra. It's the most important sutra of that book. And this means finding happiness in the happiness of Lord. The point is, we are chanting, we are associating, okay? And we are preaching. The question is, with what mood we should do? What is the goal of doing all these things? What is the goal? Goal is to give pleasure to the Lord. But there's a trick to it. Here, see. Now this is a definition of sadhana bhakti from Nectar of Devotion 1.2.2. Do you understand this sadhana bhakti? What do you mean by sadhana bhakti? How do you define sadhana bhakti? Can anybody tell me how do you define sadhana bhakti? Practice of rules and regulations is sadhana bhakti. But that is Vaidhi Bhakti, within Sadhana Bhakti. Then how do you do Raganuga Bhakti? I'm talking definition of Sadhana Bhakti. That is included, but that's not a definition. We are doing Sadhana Bhakti. Do you agree or not? All of you? We are practicing devotion. Okay. How do you define that? Because if you don't know the definition, you don't know what you are doing. And if you are doing properly, then you should know definition. So how do you define that? First, let's define it. It is there in Sanskrit. If you can get a clue, you get a clue. It is there. This is the definition of Sadhana Bhakti. Okay, yeah. Maybe, yeah. Kriti sadhe bhavet sadhe bhava sa sadhana vidha. Sadhana Bhakti is, you see, note this word. Rupa Goswami uses this word, Kriti sadhya. Now this is genius of Prabhupada. Prabhupada knew Sanskrit, Prabhupada is a scholar. Prabhupada says Sadhana Bhakti is Kriti. Kriti means work done. So there's something called Kare, something called Kriti. Kare means work. Kriti means the work done. For example, a potter. The work of potter is pottery. And the result is pot. So Rupa Goswami says, Sadhana Bhakti is when you do some work and the work is done. And Sadhya, with results. So Prabhupada always used to say, do something for Krishna. He used to say, no, that is here. And then he used to say, okay, what are the results? Many times he used to ask, Tamal Krishna Maharaj, what are the results? So sadhana bhakti is you're doing something for Krishna with a result-oriented mentality. We want results. Krishna is fighting, we want to win. That's all. We want results, but not for ourselves, for Krishna. That's the point. So this is sadhana bhakti, but there is another aspect to that. Bhavet sadhe bhava, with a goal. And this is a point which people do not understand, with a goal. In ISKCON we do things, we want results, preaching, okay, we have to expand preaching, perfect. But with a goal what? Sadhe. Sadhe means goal. What is that goal? Bhava. We must achieve emotions for Lord, an attachment to Him. If we are doing so many things and if we don't get attached to Krishna, it's okay, but it's not perfect. So that we have to keep in mind. Whatever we do, we should do in such a way that we get attached to God. We should not do in such a way that we become frustrated. That can happen, no? Practically. We should not do in such a way that we become attached to anxieties. That's not a good idea. We have to become attached to Krishna. So goals should be clear. Otherwise we can keep on doing things. We can shoot arrows in darkness, but there's no point. So Rupa Goswami is genius. He says, yeah, do in such a way, be busy for Krishna, but with an idea to become attached, bhava, to get emotions for Him. You have to get emotions for Him. That's the idea. Please keep in mind, because it's very easy to lost in this. To get lost. It is very easy to get lost in results and your work. Don't get lost in that. Keep in mind, you have to become attached to Krishna. We don't have to become attached to, like suppose sadhana bhakti, we follow rules and regulations. Some people get attached to rules and regulations. That is why Rupa Goswami, Nectar of Instruction, what he tells, there's one word. Niyamagre, Niyamagre. Rupa Goswami knew what he's talking about. He knew this is a problem. This is a problem. Everybody gets attached to his own room. No? It's very easy. It's my room. It's my place. So this is my rules, regulations, and this is what I'm following. No, that's not the idea. Okay, now the point is, sadhana bhakti, these two things are translated here. Why we are doing some work for Krishna? Make Krishna happy. Oh, yeah, sorry, I just got that wrong. Yeah, make Krishna happy. What is happening? Okay. Our target to do something for Krishna is to make Him happy. But there we should not stop. This is my point. We know this, but let's go deeper. We have to find happiness in the happiness of Lord. When Krishna becomes happy, then you have to become happy. You know why I'm telling this is because if you're in an office, you're an employee, you can make your boss happy, but you're not happy when he's happy. Oh, yeah, and we think, it's nonsense, that's okay. So that's the point. Sometimes we can work for somebody and we can make him happy, but that's not devotion. That might be something, you're doing some work. You have to find happiness in his happiness. When Krishna becomes happy, you have to become happy. In other words, you have to identify with Krishna. That's called oneness. That is what is oneness. That is called 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀 in Ramanuja Sampradaya. That is what is called Advaita Bhav in Gaudiya Vaishnavism. Bheda Bhed. That is what is a concept. You have to become one with Krishna in emotions. When Krishna is happy, you're happy. When he's sad, you are sad. You got my point? Have understood everybody? I don't think so. Because I have a question. How do you know that when Krishna is happy, and then you are becoming happy? How do you know that? How do you know Krishna is happy? And then you have to supposed to become happy.
When you're achieving your target, like you want to do the sadhana bhakti to achieve the vow.
No, you're offering to Lord, some laddus, to make Krishna happy. Now how do you know Krishna has become happy by your laddus? He'll not smile, he'll not tell to you.
Maybe his representatives are happy.
Okay, by his spiritual master, by Guru. If Guru is happy, we are happy. But if there's no Guru, then every time a Guru is not there, we can't keep on calling him.
Vaishnavas?
Sometimes there's no Vaishnavas. In your house you are offering apple. You will not ask somebody on conference, is everybody happy I offered apple? No, many times Vaishnavas and Guru are not there with us. And after Guru goes, then what do you do? Finished? Devotion finished. Okay, now I don't know anything. Yeah.
Increase in taste for chanting, reading, Shravanam, Kirtan.
Okay, that you can say, yeah. When Krishna is happy, we will get increased bliss and taste. But that can be confusing, no? Because we also get increased taste when we go to movies. So then, is Krishna happy? It can be confusing. That's okay, but I want a definite scientific answer, which can exclude all other possibilities. Just a minute. Yeah, Deepak?
Maybe, more satisfaction gets manifested. I don't know, I'm speculating.
That's okay, everybody is speculating. Yeah. This speculation is good. Sometimes mental speculation is offense. But sometimes speculation is good. Yeah, actually, by the way, Baldev Devbhushan has written a book. I forgot that name. But Baldev Devbhushan says, what all faults we find in this material world, they are qualities in spiritual world. Just like enviousness is bad here, but they are envy. Radha and Chandravali. Laziness is bad here, but there also people are lazy. You know how? This is a quiz, okay, fine. What is spiritual laziness? There is something called spiritual laziness. 𝗙𝗿 𝗪𝗀𝗪𝗀 he says in his book, Alankar Kaustubh. This word is a reflection of that word, no? You can't conceive of anything here which is not there. So it has got to be there, but not in a perverted way. So okay, if there is laziness here, there should be laziness there. What is spiritual laziness? If you have read Nectar of Devotion, Rupa Goswami tells there. Spiritual laziness. Laziness is not always bad. Okay, there's some quiz for you all. Yeah?
When the Gopas are not willing to return from the forest.
Yeah, maybe, yeah.
I have something to also philosophically speculate on the point.
No, but first this, I'll ask you, that's a good question. Okay, spiritual laziness is, 𝗙𝗿 𝗪𝗪𝗀𝗪 he defines as, that gopis do not want to do service which are performed by gopas. They are in different rasas. They do not want to do that. They are lazy in performing those services. And that is called spiritual laziness. Huh? Spiritual laziness, that's called spiritual laziness. Just like we all, here also. There's a reflection of spiritual laziness here. So just like I'm so busy in my presentations, my scientific preaching. So if we have Rath Yatra, sometimes I don't want to go. It's not that I don't like, Because I have some other agendas, and I have to do that. So that is called spiritual laziness. Got this point? So that's interesting. So that's the idea. You have to connect everything with Krishna. And we have to learn how to connect. That's what Prabhupada was saying. Understand Krishna is great, but understand how he is great. Prabhupada used to say this. This is the point. Anything not connected to Krishna will attack you back. That's Prabhupada used to say. It will come back to you. So we have to learn. But that you have to get net training. Okay, fine. So this is a question. How do we know Krishna is happy and we have to find happiness in his happiness? Anybody was saying this?
Yeah. I don't know if it is the same. It is that quality which Rupa Goswami said, 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗀𝗀𝗀, which is, I don't want to waste any single time. So
okay.
This is...
But then how do we know Krishna is happy with us?
Because Krishna is...
Okay, I can argue back. When people come new to devotion, they're more enthusiastic than anybody else, They don't want to waste even a single second. You see, a devotee who has joined just 1 week, he'll be much more active than a person who is 20 years. At least externally it will seem like that. And he will also feel like that. You can't convince him you are not active. For Mangal Arati, he'll be there at 2 o'clock. You will be at 4:30, just coming. That happens, no? When we were new. So that's not a defining symptom. That's a symptom. But that's not defining symptom. I want a defining, objective, one way by which we can know Krishna is. Oh yeah, give mic to her.
Thank you, Prabhu. I would say that when you approach your work in a way that you only want to please Krishna, and you have that emotional attachment to him, then at the end of that project, you can be completely pleased in your heart. And because there's a connection in your heart with Krishna.
But the same problem, no? That's okay. But the point is, it might be trick of illusion. Who knows? It might be sentimental. There's a confusion, no? It can be confusing. I have to be absolutely sure Krishna is happy. Absolutely sure. We want to make sure that Krishna smiles when we serve him. So one of the Alvar, he says this, my goal of life is to see a smile on Krishna's face. That's the goal of our life. So how to know that? We can't see him. So yeah.
It is given in the scriptures, whatever scripture says, if you have followed.
It is given in scriptures, okay, fine. So we are offering to Krishna and that's okay, but then that's information, but what about realization? That's jnanam, but what about vijnanam? We should know, we have to know first hand. That is, scripture is second hand information. It's not ours now. You understand? That's not ours, that's information. Okay, so your last chance and then I will.
Just like when we go to someone's place and if we want to please that person, we have to either act under the direction of who knows that person and make sure that we are not blindly doing something of our own.
What's the point?
No, if we want to know how Krishna is pleasing, what is pleasing to Krishna.
No, that we argued, no? If we don't have devotees, if we don't have spiritual master, what do you do? Many times we don't have devotees, we don't have spiritual master. Actually, most of the time, no? Most of the time it's a personal devotion, So you got my point? So there is, you want to speak? Okay, last. Last try. Okay. Yeah, why not? Yeah.
So, devotee, a person able to implement in his life instructions, which given by Krishna in this case. So in this case, there is some quality appearance, and if he applies something in his life change.
That's okay. We accept that, but that's not a defining thing. Even new people can do that. Is it? It can be. You agree to me? It's confusing, no? So the only way to know that Krishna is happy, the only way to know is, there are 2 ways, that's all, that Bhagavatam says. One is you will be free of lust. that you can't confuse yourself. Because we are very experienced in lust, no? We know, millions of lives, we know what is lust. As soon as lust will go down, we know what's happening. You can't get rid of lust without mercy of God. It's impossible. You can get bliss without mercy of God. Your mind can imagine. It can confuse. It can be a work of illusion. But lust, Maya will never decrease your lust. It might increase, but she will not do that. But she can confuse you by giving you bliss. Srila Prabhupada says, I think Srila Prabhupada says somewhere, sometimes to confuse devotees, Maya takes form of Krishna. And she will come like that. And get confused, I've realized. And sometimes demigods also take form of Krishna. And then you say, oh, I have realized. And you're blocked, finish. You can't know what is illusion. But one thing illusion will never do. She will never make free you of lust. That only Krishna can do. So lust, when your lust decreases, absolutely Krishna is becoming happy. When you're becoming detached, detachment is a way to know that we are becoming attached to Krishna. Otherwise, there's no other way Krishna is becoming happy. Okay? And that's a verse from Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam, it's famous verse, you all know, you are repeating. Vasudeve Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prajati Janyati Ashu Vairagyam. 𝗙𝗲𝗪 Goswami is absolutely genius. He knows what he's talking about. He says when you advance in devotion, Vairagya. Vairagya is a way to understand we are advancing. By bliss we can't do, by any other thing we can't do. Yeah. And the second thing is, if you want to know that you are becoming happy when Krishna becomes happy, if you want to test that, the only way is to read his pastimes. By pastimes we can know. When we identify ourselves with pastimes, when you read Krishna is playing with gopis and you become happy. When Krishna goes to Mathura and you become sad. So you're identifying with the emotions of God. You understand? Then you can know that you have entered this mood of finding happiness in happiness of Lord. That's why Krishna does pastimes. He doesn't do anything without any reason. He's not a fool that he's dancing around here and there. He enjoys and he gives instructions. So Krishna likes to teach with fun. That's Krishna, no? Fun learning. So he also likes to instruct theoretical instruction, Gita, but more of fun learning. So he does so many pastimes. And he wants us to identify with them. That's why Prabhupada says, read Krishna book. That's Prabhupada's standing instruction, no? Prabhupada says, every of my devotees should read Krishna book daily in the night. He says before, why does he say? So Prabhupada is genius. He knows what he's talking about. We can't change his instructions. It's impossible. If you do that, you can do that by your own stupid speculated ideas. But before doing that, understand why he's saying this. Understand the logic what he's doing. So people who don't read pastimes, they can never realize this point, finding happiness in happiness of Lord. If we don't realize this point, we don't advance. Yeah, you want to speak something?
Just a small comment, because it's so incidental that 𝗙𝗪 Prabhu sends a daily, and same point Prabhu has said, and then you are repeating without knowing Prabhu sent just today.
What did
for
this
reading
point?
Krishna.
Krishna?
Krishna book every day.
Yeah, see. So yeah, it's confirmed.
Prabhu, I have one confusion also. Say for example, the queens in Dwarka, they have all their intentions for satisfying Krishna. But every time he's thinking of Vrindavan, so what is their mood? Like, oh, I'm doing so much for you, and how do they ensure that the happiness of Krishna is in what they are doing?
Queens
of Dwarka. Yeah. Say for example, yeah.
No, actually, I didn't really get your question. I meant to say, what's then the question?
No, when you said that, when a devotee is doing service for Krishna, and Krishna we have to find where Krishna is having his happiness. So, though the queens of Dwarka, full day they are thinking of Krishna, they're trying to serve, but so I read somewhere that the Krishna's heart is in Vrindavan, not on Dwarka. Fine. So, how do their service compare? So Sanatana Goswami explains in Brihad Bhagavatamrit, he explains that queens of Dwarka
they know that Krishna's heart is in Vrindavan. It's no doubt. And Rukmani knows. Krishna always gets up at 3 o'clock and he's out, for meditation. Or Vrindavan. He says, what's happening, as a wife. So they know. So what they do is, they, by their services, this is Rupa Goswami has written another book. So he has written a book, Lalit Madhav and Vedant Madhav. There he explains, these queens are serving Krishna in such a way to make him remember about Vrindavan. That's their service. They're doing in such a way so that Krishna remembers Vrindavan, and when he remembers Vrindavan, Krishna becomes happy, and then they become happy. They don't do service in such a way that his attention comes to them. And that is why they're expert in that. So, and it is said by Rupa Goswami, so Krishna had principal 8 queens. 8 queens are principal, and these 8 queens are expansion of 8 gopis. Krishna kept them for that. So they know that. And that is why these 8 principal queens, they serve Krishna and they make him remember the gopis. And that is why, when there was solar eclipse, and all these, Krishna went with his queens to Kurukshetra, and gopis also came. So the queens, there is a discussion in Bhagavatam, these queens are praying to Radha and gopis, please tell us more about Krishna and please train us. So that we can do the same actions as you are doing and make Krishna remember about you by our presence. And that was their service, to be with Krishna so that he can feel he is with gopis. So it's like pretty complex and pretty nice.
So this, they are intelligent to resolve Aishwarya Bhav with Madhurya Bhav, but for people who are on management and other, how do we resolve what Krishna is liking, or day-to-day activities?
So for us we can't go that high. For us there are just 2 symptoms: detachment and pastimes. So all managers, all devotees preaching, they must read Krishna book daily and try to see how much they are identifying. When Krishna goes to Mathura, how many tears are coming in your eyes? Are you feeling sad? Are you feeling happy? Oh, Krishna is going to Mathura, nice, no Krishna? Then that's a problem. That's a problem. So how much are you excited when you see Krishna is meeting gopis face to face? So that's how we can know. Another thing is detachment. There's no other way for us as sadhakas. No other way. Yeah.
The same point actually is in the Bhagavad Gita also, like Krishna says in the 2nd chapter 64, Raga Dvesha Vimuktestu Vishyan Indriyascharan Atma Vaser Vidhyatma Prasadam Adhigacchati. That when you get the mercy of the one who can control, the translation is one who can control his senses by practicing the regulated principles of freedom, can obtain the complete mercy of the Lord become free from.
So see, same point. Control of senses. That's the main point. We should not confuse. We should, because generally we all devotees, we judge our advancement by bliss. We do that. I am bliss and I'm advancing. No, don't judge by that. That's okay. But judge by detachment. So keep in mind, that's very important. Okay. And it is mercy of Krishna that we are attached to this material body. You know this? That's also there. Because if we were not attached to this material world, we would never know what do you mean by detachment. That's also there. So sometimes Krishna allows us to be attached, and he also shows us that we are attached. No? He shows us, when devotion is going everything nice, when between he will show us, see, you are attached to this material world. And that will help us to know, I am not perfect, even though I am feeling so much bliss. What about this? So Krishna will give a glimpse, you are not advanced. Don't think you have advanced. So that is mercy of God. We should perceive it like that. And then we should take enthusiasm and advance more, rather than becoming dejected or whatever. Okay, so this is about finding happiness. This is good. So this is one verse from Chaitanya Charitamrita. If you recite this verse, then Bhaktisiddhanta used to become very happy, because this was his favorite verse. Whenever he used to sit in station, railway station, or walk on the roads, he used to ask his devotees to sing this. This pretty much summarizes entire philosophy. It's not coming here? Okay. This is said by Srimati Radharani to gopis when Krishna went to Mathura. Radharani says, I do not mind my personal distress. I only wish for the happiness of Krishna. See? For his happiness is a goal of my life. However, now the first statement is giving pleasure to God. Second statement is finding happiness in happiness of Krishna. If he feels great happiness in giving me distress, that distress is the best of my happiness. Now by the second statement, Radharani is showing she identifies with the emotions of God. Because if you don't identify with the emotions of Krishna, you can't speak this statement. You can't speak this. If Krishna is happy in giving me distress, that distress is my happiness. This is nice. This is great.
The same one more was that Atmendriya Priti Vancha, the definition.
Oh yeah, that verse. Yeah. Yeah, that from that verse then you can derive this, yeah. So this is called Gopi Bhav. You have heard Gopi Bhav, no? Like everybody wants to become Gopi when they come to ISKCON. But this is Gopi Bhav, finding happiness in the happiness. And you know why? This is not my speculation, but this is said by Vallabhacharya. Gopi Bhav is Gopniya Bhav. Gopi means secret. Gopi word comes from Gopniya, secret. They have some secret. And this is their secret. They are able to find happiness in the happiness of Lord. That's what they understand. That's what they know. We don't know. We know how to give happiness to Krishna, but that secret still we have to realize. Finding happiness in his happiness. The more we do, the more we are follower of gopis. So we are also follower of gopis. That's what Mahaprabhu says, Gopi bhartu patkan lyo das anudas anudas. But this is our understanding of Gopi Bhav. Rest will come. But this is the foundation. The secret of Gopi Bhav. Okay, this I just pretty much finish. Okay. The next fourth concept is Kritarth. Oh, I have not been able to finish today also, what? I think so, yeah. I can keep on speaking. I can keep on.
Go for a little 15.
Okay. Yeah.
Prabhu, just recording this screen not showing properly. The problem looks like it's not making the screen resolution that you have on the laptop.
Really?
Maybe you can try disconnecting again.
Yeah, you can do that, yeah. I don't know how to do that. If anybody can do that. So we can ask demigods to pause a little bit.
Do you know?
So sorry for that. What to do?
Slightly change the screen resolution.
You know what? Now it is coming?
No.
Yeah, this may be better. Correct?
Like this we can do.
Page down should be okay.
Yeah, we can do this.
No, there are then, everyone also sees the screen.
Oh. So what to do?
Which is okay also.
Just here, just,
Let him do. Demonstrate.
sorry,
I need your help.
screen resolution.
Oh, resolution you have to.
Okay, that's
Here,
what we
resolution.
have.
Reduce. Resolution you can reduce.
Yeah.
No, it is resolution screen.
No, that is the proper resolution, orientational landscape.
Portrait you can do.
Displays.
Oh, portrait we can do, no? Sorry. Portrait? Should I do?
No. Okay, I think it should be tried at some other time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Can you try and go resolution?
Yeah, resolution, maybe reduce, yeah, you're right. Because it might come. Keep changes? Okay. So it's there?
Yeah.
It's come? Oh yeah. Thank you, Dimitri bro. Oh, Kedarnath bro. Sorry, I just got wrong. But you know what? Anyway, that's my personal thing. When I call initiated names, I find it official. When I call personal names, it's personal. Anyway, well, we should call by initiated names. That's important. Not by personal names. Okay, so yeah. What's this? Okay, fine. So this is the fourth concept. Now, now till now we talked about this. Our goal of chanting and doing everything is to please Krishna and find happiness in happiness. But there's one problem there. The problem is, when you do that, then you become proud. No. I am able to please Krishna. I am becoming detached. So how to get rid of that pride? This is the fourth concept, Kritarth. That is why everybody must hear this entire seminar, because if you don't hear, then you will say, well, I heard but nothing is happening, because this is all linked. So, so how to become Kritarth? This word is Kritartha. We have to be obliged to Krishna at every moment. Or we have to be indebted. Or Prabhupada translates this Kritartha as successful in Chaitanya Charitamrita. He uses this word Kritartha. This word Kritartha, if you read Chaitanya Charitamrita, Bengali, again and again this word is repeating. You read Bengali. If you read English, you'll not be able to get this. In Bhagavatam, this word comes many times. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says that Dekhi Ranganath. So when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu went to Srirangam, he danced in front of Ranganath, and Stuti Praniti Kaila, Manila Kritarth. So this is a beautiful verse. Chaitanya Charitamrita, Krishna Consciousness Swami says, Kavirete snan kari, dekhi Ranganath, Stuti Praniti Kaila, Manila Kritarth. So Mahaprabhu took bath, he went to Krishna, he sang his glories, and then you know what he said to Krishna? Krishna, I'm so obliged, I'm indebted that you have given me a chance to glorify you. So that's the point we have to carry. Now the point is, what do we mean by this indebtedness? Now we have to analyze scientifically. Now I just presented it emotionally, that's one thing. But the seminar is entire something, science. So what do we mean by that? Okay. This is a meaning of indebtedness. You feel indebted to God, but what do we mean by that? There are three meanings for that. Nimisho, animisho. When a devotee feels indebted to God, why he feels indebted to God? Question is, how to maintain this mood of indebtedness to God? No? Because generally we forget. We'll forget, no? We'll get pride. How to always have this sentiment? How to protect this sentiment of indebtedness? These are the 3 points you have to always remember. This is from Vishnu Sahasranam, Nimisho and Nimisho. These are 2 names of Krishna. Nimisha means closing eyes, and Animisha means opening. So Baldev Bhushan writes, when Krishna sees anybody's faults, sins, offense, he closes his eyes. He pretends as if he's not seeing it. but doesn't mean that he doesn't know that. So he pretends as if I'm not seeing, because if he sees, then he have to judge. He can't say, oh, I see, but no judgment. Because if he says, I see it, but okay, I'll forgive him, no judgment, then there'll be revolt. So many rishis sitting around, they'll say, what are you doing here? You're surpassing law, that's a law. And there is one more name of God, Dharmakrit. He never likes, he will never surpass his own laws. He will never violate his own laws. So what to do? So Krishna is in dilemma. He loves his devotees. He wants to forgive them of his offenses. But if he sees them, then he can't forgive. So what to do? So he has to close his eyes. Well, what's the meaning of closing his eyes? His eyes are open, you see. What do you mean he closes his eyes? He doesn't see his devotees or what? How does Krishna close his eyes? Like what he does, there's a secret to it. To not look at the offenses of devotees, what he does, he brings Radharani with him. And that's said by Vedanta Deshika. He keeps Radha with him, and when he is with Radha, he is distracted. Get my point? He wants to get distracted. And he can't focus on devotees. So if rishis ask, my God, they are doing so many offenses, why are you not punishing them? And he can say, I don't have control on my mind, what should I do? I don't have sense control, that's not in my... and I'm distracted, Radha is there with me. What to do? I didn't notice. That's all. And there's a genuine reason, I'm distracted. So that's why he brings Radha. And that is why, that's his mercy, to have Radha with him. And he helps us to advance. And that is the role of Radha, She is embodiment of mercy. She is there with him to make Krishna distracted. That's one perspective, one perspective to look why she is there. And that's why his name is Nimisho. This is said by Vedanta Shika. And then Animisho, he opens his eyes when devotee does any service. So how he does that? Because somebody can argue, anyway, when they do sin, then you are distracted. When they are doing service, then you are not distracted or what? So how does Krishna manage that? How is he able to see services of devotees in spite of being with Radha? You understanding what I am saying? Everybody getting my point? So, what do you do?
He sees the service to Radha Rani, which we do.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, that's... Yeah. No? No, actually, yeah. He's right, because that is why Krishna says, serve Radha. Because if we serve Krishna, he'll not focus on you. Anyway, he's not focusing. So, our Gaudiya Vaishnava conception is Radha Krishna. We are servant of Radha. So when we serve Radha, anyway his focus is on Radha, so we accept services through Radha. So you understand that's the logic behind that. That is why Hare Krishna. Krishna naam gaane bhai, Radhika charana pai. Radha naame paye Krishna Chandra. Narottam Das Thakur says. So you have to serve Radha. Get my point? This is nice, something. Animisha. So that is why we are obliged to him, no? We are indebted to him because he brought Radha with him. We are indebted to him because he has made a plan to avoid our offenses and accept our services. He had to think of this plan, no? And he has to expose her beloved in front of everybody, in front of nonsense people also. Who wants to show her girlfriend in front of everybody? Who wants to do that? Tell me. We want to hide, first of all. But anyway, he shows, anyway. Mercy is more important. No problem. Okay, and the next point, so you're understanding what I'm telling? To keep that attitude of indebtedness, we have to remember these points. And then we'll always be indebted to Krishna. Oh, Krishna, you did so much for me, mercy. He is giving us at every moment. Isn't it? So we are obliged to him. He's not taking from us, we are taking. We are taking from him everything, no? We come to temple, we take prasad. We come to temple, we take katha. We come to temple, we take books. We are always taking, but we never thought of giving. So sometimes we think of giving. Preaching is giving. We're giving back to Krishna. But Krishna gives us, always. He never takes from us anything, except our foolishness he takes. That's another thing. What he takes, that's a bad part of us. What he gives, it's a good part of him. This is Krishna. This is called mercy. And if we have to be merciful like him, we have to take bad part of others and give good part of ourselves. That's called compassion. That is compassion. If you want to define compassion, that's compassion. That's compassion. So, just like Prabhupada, he took bad part of others, no? He took tensions of so many people. But he gave the good part. So we are obliged to him. He is giving so many things to us, and he will keep on giving, in spite of not our wanting. No, Prabhupada says, no, when Krishna will give by 10 hands and you will not be able to hold by 2 hands. That's Prabhupada says. So, and then Krishna creates greed and urgency for us. You know what this means? Okay. In devotion we have sadhya and sadhan. We know this, no? Sadhya means what? The goal. What is the goal? Love. What is sadhan? The ways to attain God, okay? So if you really think about it, what is love? Love is Krishna. No, there's no difference between love and Krishna. What is sadhan? What is holy name? It is Krishna. So Krishna is both sadhe and sadhan. He's both means and ends. To achieve Krishna, we have to take help of Krishna. We need Krishna to attain Krishna. He's both means and ends. That is His mercy. Because we can't attain Krishna by any other method which is not Krishna. Got my point? It's not, you can't do that. So only Krishna can contact Krishna. You got my point? We cannot contact Him. So He comes in some other form. He comes to us and He takes us. So we have a beautiful example by Sri 𝗪𝗪𝗪. So this example, just like in South India, you go, there are elephants, big elephants, no? So when you go, so you give some coins and bananas to elephant, and they'll take that coin and banana and give to Mahavat, sitting the person on the top. He will take that and keep. And sometimes, people come and they give their children, small children. So elephant will coil their children, take him up, and he will hold it, and then he'll put and then give a ride, like that. Because he can't come down, no. So that small children, they do like that. So Sri Sampradaya, they say, this is like it. We go near Krishna, that's all. Just give yourself. He will pick you up, take you up and give you a ride, that's all. They put feet, yeah. So that's what we have to do. That's all we have to do. So Krishna will do everything. He is both means and both ends. What we have to do is, Prabhupada says in one of his lectures, we were hearing, no? Somehow we have to come in contact with God. And that line when I heard, I immediately remembered. Prabhupada, when he's saying somehow we have to come in contact with God, he has this in mind, Krishna is both sadhe and sadhan. This is said by Rupa Goswami. That concept he has, Prabhupada is saying. We have to come in contact with Him, and we always have to remain in contact with Him. Why we don't advance? Because we are not in contact with Him. By physically we may be, but mentally sometimes we are out. Yeah.
Yeah, Prabhu, the logic you mentioned, like the elephant using his trunk to put it on the back. There is another logic called Marchar-न्याय and Market-न्याय,
Oh, yeah.
So, like our Gauriya philosophy, we follow like both. Like we will try to approach Krishna and also we seek His mercy. Both like our endeavor and
mercy both, yeah. So that book I have written, entire book on that, Mighty Efforts. That entire book is on this concept, mercy and effort. This is what we're talking. And then Krishna, you know what He does? He also creates greed and urgency in us to attain Him. This is His real mercy. This is His real mercy. He will give a gift. When we do a lot of sadhana, He'll give us gift. And you know what is that gift? That gift is not bliss. That is some side thing He'll give. That is like toffee. Bliss, happiness. That is not His real mercy. Okay, take it. This is the real bliss. Greed to attain Him. Urgency to attain love. Tatra 𝗪𝗨𝗪 api ekalam mulyam. Rupa Goswami says, the only price to attain God is to have greed to attain Him. And that's koti janma sukruti api na labhyate. Even after many lifetimes, you'll not be able to get that. It's very difficult. And Rupa Goswami says, if you can get that somewhere, just buy it. It's $1,200, $1,300, no problem. We'll go to buy a laptop. But we'll ask them if they have this, we'll buy that. Just buy that greed, because it's not easy. Krishna will never give that. He'll give everything. He'll not give that. And if that shopkeeper says, okay, fine, you can buy this, but there's no price, there's just one price, you have to give your head. Just cut it and give it, but give me greed. That's the point. Greed means desire to attain Him. Urgency, without Krishna, I can't live. That is difficult, no? Sometimes we have, sometimes we don't have. But this platform is, spiritual greed means 24 hours you will, without God, you will suffer. You will suffer 24 hours. That sweet pain will be there in your heart. That's called as sweet pain, no? That pain will be there. Oh, I am without Krishna. How to attain Him? Okay, quiz. Is there any verse in Bhagavad Gita about this? Last point. Krishna will give greed. His main mercy is He will give the gift of greed to us if we practice sadhana nicely. Is there any verse for that? But where is the greed mentioned there? That's buddhi. Oh, everybody should know Gita. Gita, you should see. Oh yeah, we have to understand what's there in Gita. Okay, but you know that verse, I know. But you never thought about it. Chapter, okay, I'll give you chapter hint. 12th chapter. So, no. Where is Gita? Can you give me that? Yeah. Okay, so I'll give you another hint. 12th chapter, when we have steps, if you can't do this, you can do this. If you can't do this, you can do this. In that, there is a verse. Please read books nicely, contemplate on them. Don't just keep on repeating. This doesn't benefit. Just repeating, it doesn't benefit much. It's good to think about that verse. Okay, 12th. What's 12:8? Okay, let me ask you. 12th chapter 8th verse. What is that verse? First word? Huh? 𝗪 आदत्स्व मयि बुद्धिं निवेशय. Okay. Fix your mind on me. What is the 12:9? अथ चित्तं समाधातुं न शक्नोषि मयि स्थिरम्.
अभ्यास योगेन ततो माम इच्छाप्तुम धनंजय.
आ गया. अभ्यास योगेन ततो माम इच्छाप्तुम धनंजय. If you cannot fix your mind on me, practice sadhana bhakti. So that what you get? Mam ichhaptum, you get a desire to. Ichhaptum means attain me. This is there in this verse. This is there. I don't know how. Let's see what Prabhupada translates. Prabhupada will translate like that only. Okay, this is Prabhupada's translation. My dear Arjuna, O winner of wealth, if you cannot fix your mind upon me without deviation, then follow the regulated principles of Bhakti Yoga, sadhana bhakti. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So, this is Bhaktivinoda. Thank you. This is what Bhaktivinoda Thakur quotes this verse for this greed.
But this verse is talking about in this way that we have to develop a desire to attain.
Okay, fine. I understand you. Yeah. So you are saying this verse is talking about in this way, develop a desire to attain me. Yeah, that's okay. In this way, develop a desire to attain me. So that's the point.
My point is Krishna giving us the greed and urgency, right? That is the third point. But this verse is referring as if we have to.
I understand your point. Yeah. So when we do sadhana, we become attached to God, and we develop a desire to attain Him. At least theoretically, we develop a desire. If we keep this point in mind, and then Krishna will bless our theoretical desire and make it realized in greed form. So this is technically called as paroksh bhava and aparoksh bhava. So, yeah, you have to do that. You have to contemplate on that, yes. So many people want Krishna desire. Prabhupada wanted. Mahaprabhu is weeping in separation from him, okay. When that day will come, when I will also be like that, and Krishna will bless, okay, I'll give you that. So that's the idea here. By mercy, we can realize that point. Theoretically, we have to think about that now. Start thinking about that. Otherwise, you don't advance. That's okay, like that. Paroksh bhava. Anyway, this will come by mercy. Okay. So if we understand this, so see, Krishna is so merciful. So merciful. If you remember, He avoids our faults. He creates a plan to accept our services. He gives us so much mercy. He is both means and the ends. He creates urgency and He takes us to Him. how can you forget? How can you forget that I am so indebted to Lord? We can't forget that. We can't forget, it's impossible. We are indebted to Lord. The more we serve Him, the more we become indebted to Him. Because He is giving us the opportunity to serve Him. So this, if we understand this Kritarth, we can do devotion, we'll do devotion, but we'll never become proud. This is how we, this is not humility, this is obliged. I got that. Humility is little different from this. I'll tell you, it's little different. Little different, and that's a question for you all anyway. With mercy and efforts, both. Prabhupada says. This is a nice quote actually, you see. Prabhupada says, a revival of dormant affection or love of God does not depend on mechanical system of hearing and chanting, but solely and wholly depends on causeless mercy of Lord, okay? But then Prabhupada continues, when Lord is fully satisfied with the sincere effort of devotees, He may endow him with His transcendental loving service. Prabhupada combines both. But the point here, what I am going to tell is, I'm pointing out is, Prabhupada says when he's fully satisfied with the sincere efforts. So this, what do you mean by sincere efforts? Sincere efforts does not mean hearing and chanting, because previously Prabhupada has already pointed out that only hearing and chanting will not help you, it is mechanical. Here sincere effort means the attitude with you chant and hear. Because you should not confuse, sincere effort means, okay, what? So I should chant more, I should hear more, that you can do. But more than that, focus on the attitude with what you are chanting and hearing. That's more important. That is sincere efforts. Yeah.
I have a question. Have this always. How do in devotional scientific ways we define sincerity? What is the meaning of sincerity? Does it mean right attitude?
Yeah, sincerity is correct attitude. That's what I'm pointing. And correct attitude you can get by these 8 points. Imbibing. Otherwise, sincerity doesn't mean. That is why in ISKCON we say, be sincere, be sincere. But what do you mean by that? I had so much confusion, What I should bang my head on the floor or what? I like 24 hours I'm doing what I'm doing. I'm doing, Baba, and I don't have more time than that, and I have to sleep, and what do we do? So the point of, then I've researched, and Prabhupada says in one of his quotations, sincerity means enthusiasm. And enthusiasm means proper attitude. Enthusiasm will come. You will be enthusiastic when you are interested. It will come from interest. Interest will come with intelligence. Prabhupada says in Nectar of Instruction, intelligence will come with proper attitude. So Prabhupada says that if you connect the points, this is what sincerity means. Otherwise it doesn't have any sense. So when people say be sincere, I don't get the point. Personally for me, I heard so many times, but I didn't get the point. It has to be explained properly. This is a good question.
Hare Krishna. Like some people, when we explain about this devotional service or sincerity, so they won't get immediately, right? We have to cultivate, or first we have to cultivate ourselves and then do it.
Yeah.
But how to get that, like when we go for book distribution, sometimes you are doing out of what we need. So
book distribution?
Yeah, when we go out for Sankirtan.
But so what do you mean?
So I mean how to get them immediately, realize this is the important thing.
Immediately nothing can happen. You have to explain them, that's all. If you want to make them sincere, explain them, give them logic. That's what my point is. Attitude will come by why, asking why. That's what I started. To ask why I'm doing this. Just like I'm asking you, why? Then people become sincere. Otherwise you can't become sincere if you don't ask why. Another quiz I'll ask you. Why do we chant Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? Why don't we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna? Why this is like this? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. It's a good question, no? When I joined ISKCON, first question came to me. I'm quite suspicious. I ask questions. So I was thinking, why Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna? Why can't we chant Krishna, 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 Krishna? Many people are chanting like that, no? Krishna, Krishna, 𝗙𝗲𝗋 Krishna. And in preaching we have to tell, this is a Maha Mantra, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. And usual answer is, because it's said by Brahma. Right, in scriptures. But why it is there in scriptures? There has to be some logic, no? They're not mad people, Brahmaji. That this sequence is there. There has to be some logic. So what's that logic? This is why. If you get this why, answer to this why, 100% you will have full concentration on Hare Krishna mantra. Your mind will not waver, 100%, because there is explanation for this. And this explanation is given by Jiva Goswami, and beautiful explanation of why this sequence is there and how this sequence will develop our mood to serve Krishna more and more, more and more. So, but if you don't ask why, you never enter the answer for this question. You never, it's blocked. That is blocked for you. But the dark side of asking why is, if you don't get answer, you become mad. Yeah, if you don't get answer, then it's frustrating, there's no answer for this, and it might create doubts. No? So that's the dark side, and that is why we need association of good devotees. Is it? Good devotees. Good devotees means four things. Who has knowledge, who is able to explain that knowledge. If he's not able to explain, he might know, but what's the use? He is able to solve your doubts. Because if he is able to give you knowledge, explain that knowledge, and if you end up with doubts, then you become more confused and more clarity. So he is to be able to explain doubts. And he should speak what he does, and he should do what he speaks. You should internalize that. This is a good devotee. If you get such a devotee, just don't leave him, that's all. Be with him. And that's how we choose devotees. We have to choose, no? We have to be choosy in Krishna consciousness. We can't be just like that. That is why there is Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam, Uttam. Rupa Goswami is saying that. It's not to judge, but it's to choose. So we have to keep in mind all these things. Ask why always. Ask that. Huh? So somebody, I have to finish this seminar, it's not finished. But with this seminar, at the end I'll tell, but this seminar, I have a different seminar for this. Why Hare Krishna? And there's a lot of details in that, and it's nice. In Mighty Efforts, in Mighty Efforts I have put a little bit,
Which
Mighty Efforts.
Which Sandarbha is that?
It's not Sandarbha. It is Jiva Goswami has written an independent explanation of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. There's a book for that, small book.
Name?
And he gives that. Name is secret. I'll tell you afterwards. That book, yeah. Okay.
Join your college.
Yeah. Come to my college, yeah. I'm a college. Okay, fine. Now, this is humbleness, no? So when we are obliged, okay, fine. So I told you have mood of surrender. Then you have to express your surrender by? You have to repeat. Express your surrender by Krishna Kam, Krishna Nam, Krishna Dham. Do something. And then simultaneously, the goal is to find happiness in the happiness of Lord. And when you do that, you have to become obliged. You have to keep that mood of obligement. But then the problem is when you keep this sentiment that I am so indebted to Lord, I am so obliged, there's one problem with that. The problem is we can become proud again that I am so obliged. Got my point? In spite of doing service, still I can remember that I am indebted to Krishna. So sometimes you can be proud that I am an insignificant devotee. That can happen, no? It happens, no? Oh, it happened, yeah. When Tamal Krishna Maharaj, I think Tamal Krishna Maharaj met Prabhupada. So I think Tamal Krishna Maharaj was saying, I don't know exactly, but don't quote me. I don't know who he was. What happened with Prabhupada, he told that Prabhupada, I'm the most fallen. Prabhupada told, you are not most anything. It happened, we have heard that. So sometimes, that can happen. So how to get rid of that, So that is when we understand what is humility properly. What do you mean by humble? Okay, let me ask you, what do you mean by humble? This is like everybody knows humility. Humility is most important. The most important thing in devotion. One synonym of devotion is humility. And enthusiasm, another. What do you mean by this? Can anybody tell me? No, this everybody knows in other places, but I want explanation.
Prabhuji, even you can become proud that you are humble.
Yeah, so that is why. You become proud that you are humble when you don't understand what is humbleness. That is why That is why I am defining humility now.
So getting rid of that I am humble, is the humility.
You know Hindi? Thinking. You know Hindi?
Yeah.
Okay. नहीं हिंदी आती है? हाँ. So मेरे हिसाब से ये शेर शायरी है. ये शेर और शायरी है. शेर, you understand शेर? Yeah. According to me, this is poetry. Getting rid of I. Because this is theoretical information, but this doesn't help us to do anything practical. Getting rid of I, what do you mean by that? It's okay, this is a theoretical definition.
Thinking less about
I want a practical
oneself.
definition. You got my, understand my point? Getting rid of I, okay fine. Where am I, first of all? How to get rid of I? You got my point?
Yeah, you are not involving yourself when doing service. Like you are not thinking like, how I am effective.
Acha, let me ask, are you satisfied with your answer? No, na? So then how will I be satisfied? This answer doesn't satisfy. No? It's not clear cut. You got my point? I'm not telling you. I'm using you to tell everybody. Everybody thinks like that. Yeah.
Prabhuji, is it doing service for Krishna without the sense of being honored for that?
No, but sense of being honored is different, no? Amane na maan dena. If it was same, then Mahaprabhu would not have said this. And this is something different, no? So what is this?
I don't know if it again will sound as sher or shairi.
That's okay.
But whatever my little understanding is, I think the whole 𝗪𝗏𝗪𝗀 Sunichena 𝗪𝗪 third verse is a humility package. The whole thing.
You have to define me. I don't want to hear all these things.
Well,
You're
humility, I mean, in my opinion, for a little understanding, I mean, there are levels to it. One level is, of course, tolerance.
I don't want levels, I want definition. Levels will come afterwards, no?
Mm-hmm.
I'm asking you definition. Simple. It's very simple. Definition. Levels we'll discuss afterwards.
Not taking ownership of that quality.
Okay, yeah. Of which quality? What is...
What is that you are?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. It's getting confused now. Humility, yeah. We can't define humility. There are some clear-cut definitions, clear-cut guidelines. Yes, Guru?
Basically, try to satisfy not your, I mean, other
okay,
person's
fine, yeah,
senses.
Yeah, you are somewhere near to that, yeah. Okay. That's okay, yeah, getting to the point, yeah. Okay, yeah, that's nice. So we have to define, you see what's happening with us? We assume we know things, but we don't know. See what's happening with us? And we could have spent entire life and thinking we know and we are humble, but we are not. This is illusion. This is how Maya will act. She is not stupid. How much experience we have devotion? 10 years, 20, 30, 40? How much experience she has? How can you match her experience? You can't play with her. So that is why we need proper definitions, so that we won't become confused. That's what all acharyas are doing, no? Rupa Goswami, what he does in Nectar of Devotion, he defines, no? What is Shraddha, what is Bhajan Kriya, what is Nishtha, why they are defining. I was thinking, when I read these books, I was thinking why they are defining. If devotion is to do with everything with heart, why do you define all these things, no? Why Prabhupada called this science? So one answer was because Prabhupada wanted to preach, it is his tactic, it is science. In America, people like science. So I was thinking when I was new, this is a tactic of Prabhupada, this is science, so people will accept this. But actually this is not science. But then I understood it's not like that. It is science. And we have to understand as a science, because if we don't do, we'll become confused. Now, when you are new, nothing happens. You don't become confused because you're already confused. But when you advance, then things become more dangerous. So when we are new, it's not a dangerous position. When you advance, then it's very dangerous. Because things become clear, you're advancing. An illusion will not allow you to advance. She will do everything possible to hold you back. You become strong, enemy becomes strong, no? Enemy is not going to sit like stupid. So now illusion doesn't care for us. Because we are already all gone case, we're super confused, do whatever you want. But when you advance, things become dangerous. It becomes dangerous. So they want to pull you back. So we have to define humility. Okay. By the way, it was just a short note. So please define. My whole seminar is to make you think, to ask why, always, and define things properly. If you can't do that, come to devotees and ask them definition, and then you'll be more clear. It's okay, that makes sense. So I'm writing a book actually. So I'm writing a Vaishnav dictionary, where we'll give definitions for each word with evidences, and that will, I think, help devotees, because it's so confusing. At least for me it was confusing. Like 20 years in ISKCON I am there, and 10 years I just wasted like that. Like nobody told me. There's no training in proper systematic training, no? There is, but at least I didn't find it sufficient. So I was thinking, so I thought, devotees who are joining, they should not waste time. Okay, from first day start, tuck, and that is why I'm opening this college. Oh, can you give me the book? I'll just show that on net. Thank you. So this is the college which we are opening in Kurukshetra, Vedic Revival College, and this is it's not coming there anyway, that's okay. So it's like this, and this is about, we will give so many courses: management, philosophy, science, agriculture, architecture, religion, home science, pottery, music, drama, fine skills. So many things we'll teach, and in English, not in Sanskrit. We have translated all Sanskrit courses into English, and in about a month. You choose one course, come from America to India to a college, stay for 1 month, learn whatever you want, come back. And free education. No money. We have to pay tickets for your own coming. That you can do. But education free, stay free, eating free, everything free. Because we want to propagate this knowledge, We want people to come. So, and we'll teach Sanskrit in 1 month. You'll get 1 month entire Sanskrit. Which take 12 years. It takes 12 years to learn Sanskrit. And Sanskrit is an impediment, no? Like we don't understand Sanskrit, so 1 month you can get Sanskrit. There are ways to teach Sanskrit in 1 month. You will not become scholar, but you will enter the language. You'll understand what's going on there and relish more. So that's one thing, by the way. Okay, so we have one course of definitions. That's what I'm talking about. There's one course for definitions. I'm writing a book. Let's see if it comes. So, okay, fine, let's define humility now. Now, Bhaktivedanta Thakur has written an article on humility in 𝗙𝗪 Vaishnav. What's that? 𝗙𝗪 Vaishnav Prabandhavali. There's a book. It's in Bengali, it's not translated in English. In a college, we'll teach Bengali also, because there are many things not translated in English. We don't have access. And there's very nice things in Bengali. So, there's something called materialistic humility. Perfect example of materialistic humility is America. Thank you, everybody. Yeah, and then sorry, and then they will give respect. So when I first came to America, I was like, this is okay, nice. Everybody feels good. But actually, if you really look deep, it is all materialistic. It's on bodily platform. It's nothing to do with soul, no. It is all bodily thing, It's all a patchwork to hide exploitation, no. That's all. So this is materialistic humility. Then we have superficial humility. This is something different. This is called 𝗪𝗪. Superficial humility is you are humble outside, but internally you have motives and you have hypocrisy. This is a hypocrite person. Externally you're humble, internally you want money, you want to come to America, you want to marry some whatever, ISKCON, this happens, no? So that is superficial humility. You speak something, internally you have motives. But what is true humility now? This is 𝗪𝗪, without hypocrisy. Whatever you are outside, inside you are the same. So true humility is divided into 2 parts, external and internal. 𝗪𝗍 दैन्य, अंतरंग दैन्य. External humility is by etiquettes. That we all do, no? Okay, dandvat, obeisances, speaking properly, giving proper respect according to the position of the devotee. That's external. That's important. And there is internal humility. which is more important than external. External humility is helping us to cultivate internal humility. If we don't have internal humility and only external humility, it's a structure with no life. So it doesn't help us. So what is internal humility? That we'll see. This is the definition of humility. From Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, you have not read Chaitanya Charitamrita, all of you. This is proof. I caught you there. Uttam hoya apna ke mane trinadham. This is the explanation. Although a devotee is very exalted, he thinks himself lower than a grass on ground. So to become humble, you have to become exalted. Got this point? The idea is, if a sweeper says, I am a sweeper, he is not humble. He is simply accepting the fact. That's a factual reality. Got my point? I am a sweeper. He's not humble, that's okay, that's a fact. We know. I am fallen down. We know you are fallen down, that's not humble. If you know you are fallen down, if you are saying I am fallen down, okay, we are pleased. Krishna is pleased. At least you accepted you have fallen down. You have fallen. You can't do devotion nicely. Okay. But that's not humility. If a king says, I am a sweeper, Pratap Rudra, he was brooming. Krishna became happy with him, no? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu became happy with Pratap Rudra. He was sweeping, no? He didn't become happy with sweepers. There were so many sweepers also brooming. Because he was a king. He was exalted, but he was doing a lower service. That is humility. So if you speak, I am fallen, and you are already fallen, that's not humility. They are accepting the fact. Okay, fine, that's good. At least you are not an illusion, no? That I am doing devotion nicely. That's okay. But that's not what is humility. That is factual reality. But humility is transcendental reality. Transcendental means that reality which transcends your faults. When you become exalted, when you become very advanced, you are actually not fallen, but you are saying I am fallen. That will please Krishna. Is it? So when you're in devotion very strong, when you're pure, and then you say, Krishna, I am impure. Then Krishna says, oh, this is nice. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was telling to Haridas Thakur, no? Haridas Thakur was saying, I am so fallen. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was saying, no, don't speak, this is breaking my heart. Why? Because who is more exalted than Haridas Thakur? That is why. If we speak to Krishna, I am fallen, Krishna heart will not break. So that is transcendental reality. That reality of humbleness transcends modes of nature. When you transcend modes of nature, then you are humble. Then there is a true meaning of humility. Otherwise, humility doesn't mean anything. So, it's a good definition, no? So if you want to become humble, you have to become exalted. Got my point? So don't be satisfied, I am humble. My point is, don't be satisfied. I am not chanting properly. I am not doing my sadhana properly. Oh, I am very humble. No, you're not humble. You're proud. This is pride. You got my point? This is pride. If you think deeply, this is pride. I am not doing chanting properly. Suppose I am not falling properly, and then I am saying, Krishna, I am fallen. Krishna will say, well, not to serve Krishna is pride. Got my point? That's not humbleness. Krishna will say, okay, why you are not following what I am saying? Why you are so proud to have your own ideas? So that is pride, that is illusion, see? Maya confuses us. We think that's humbleness, but that's proud. That's being proud. Your answer to follow? That you understood? So if you want to go low, you have to go high. But if you go high, you come low if you're only interested in going high. So that's the idea. Krishna likes people who are exalted but yet remain behind. Krishna likes them. So, okay, I'll give you one example for this. Let's just give you an example. Okay, this is what means by being exalted. So, we talked about you have to become exalted. So, what do you mean by becoming exalted? What do you mean by becoming advanced devotee? Is it? So like I used to hear in ISKCON, become advanced, be advanced devotee. What do you mean by that, bhai? What should I do? You got my point? What should I do practically? Be advanced, where should I advance? In air, This is what is the meaning of be advanced. Who is advanced devotee who has these 3 qualifications? First is renunciation of all sense enjoyment. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. He is advanced devotee. I told you detachment is a sign of advancement. We talked about that. So detachment is humility. Because if you really feel I am nothing, I am insignificant, then why do you enjoy property of Krishna? This property, this enjoyment of this word is not for people who are worthless. You got my point? That's the idea. So if you have a servant in your house, and if you come fine day, and your servant is sitting on your sofa, eating your pizza, seeing your TV, and he says, my dear Lord, I am insignificant. He says, come on, you nonsense, get lost from here. That's what we are doing. This entire house is house of Krishna, no? Vasudeva Kutumbikam. And we are enjoying his things, and we are saying, I am insignificant. It doesn't make any sense. This is complete nonsense. So that's why Bhaktivinoda Thakur defines humility as power of renunciation. So you have to judge humility by how much renounced you are in your heart, not externally, how much detached you are. So that is why I told that detachment, by advancement you judge detachment you judge advancement. This is humility. It doesn't make any sense. So many people in ISKCON, they keep on telling, I am fallen, I am fallen. Okay, bhaiya, I know you are fallen, and just get lost. That's okay. That's fine, How much detachment you have in your heart? Tell me. And to that proportion you are humble. Otherwise you are proud. No? Just like a servant who is eating pizza. You are eating pizzas of Krishna. And you are saying, I am insignificant. Why you are doing that? Why you are enjoying Krishna's property? That is first verse of Isopanishad. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗍𝗪. That verse conveys the mood of humility. 𝗙𝗲𝗪𝗔𝗍𝗪 यत्किञ्चित् जगतां जगत्. Okay. It's good. I told you have to define things. Otherwise we'll be confused. Okay, next definition of humility is, humility implies perfect submission to truth. This is humility. To follow what Krishna says, okay? So that we understand. And to submission to truth and no sympathy for untruth. That is humility. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, I was finding but I couldn't get the reference, but I heard that many times. Prabhupada said, humility means courage. This is something counterintuitive, no? Humility means courage. Courage to uphold truth. Anything which is pleasing to Krishna, anything which is favorable to Krishna, we are favorable to him. Anything which is opposed to Krishna, we are opposed to him. This shows our surrender. And we are humble. Krishna, whatever you say, I humbly accept your will. Prabhupada says in his purport, accept the will of... We were reading first canto 8th chapter. Yeah, Prabhupada was saying, same statement. The valor of Pandavas was that they accepted the will of Lord. Valor means courage. This statement defines humility. You go first canto, 8th chapter, I think 36th verse. 36, 37? Yeah, one of them. Prabhupada is defining everything. We should be able to recognize that. That's the point. So for that you need devotees, or for that you need to read Acharya's books and come back again. It's easy to miss. So any clinging to untruth is opposed to the principle of humility. So we can't say to anybody, if anybody is talking something wrong, if anybody is talking something opposed to truth, and we say, chalo, theek hai, that's okay. That's not humility. We have to face it. And we have to make him understand this is wrong. If you are in a position to do that, of course. If you're not in a position, then you can keep quiet. If you're in a position, if you meet somebody on road and if he says something nonsense, then it's your duty to uphold truth. See, sir, this is wrong. This is like this. You can't just keep quiet. And accepting risks for fulfilling Krishna's desire. See, humility includes acceptance of difficulties from others. Prabhupada defines. Please read Prabhupada books. But Prabhupada books also includes his lectures and conversations. Yeah, that's what Prabhupada books also includes that. Prabhupada says in our lecture, accepting difficulties from others, no? Accepting difficulties, you have to be humble, no? Okay, you have to tolerate many things, you have to be humble. So this is humility. This is nice definition, no? So, yeah, never assume that we know. This is a disease. This is number one disease of humans. Assumption. We assume we know. Because we are proud. Ego. This is called ego, no? This is called ego, is assumption. I know, so I don't need to know. Always think I don't know. And then there's scope of knowing more. Because there's no end to knowledge. You can go as much as deep you want. So, keep your mouth shut, ears open. In hard language. Okay, how to attain humility? This is good. Okay, how to be humble? This we all know. How to attain humility? How to attain that? So externally, to be humble, what should we do? Serve devotees. Devotees of Lord includes spiritual master and all other devotees. Menial service we should do and book distribution. Prabhupada says in one of his lecture, I hatched a plot. You heard? A book distribution. And this plot will help you to get money also, Prabhupada says, to generate funds and also to become humble. When you go to people, you are not begging, but so book distribution helps you to become humble also. So this is external thing you have to do, become humble. What are the internal things we should do to become humble? Can anybody tell? What should we do internally to become humble? Chanting external, no? This is external activity. What is internal thing we should do inside our heart? This everybody is doing, no?
It can be interpreted to Krishna, all those, some of the points you said.
I showed you some clue. I showed you a clue, but well, that is separate point, no? So I don't want to mix. We can mix, everything is joined. But let's keep things separate and clear. Okay, what's the internal thing we should do to become humble? What is the internal thing to understand that perfect submission to truth? I talked about humility, accepting grace. How to attain that platform? My question is, how to attain that platform, no? Now we can't accept risk for Krishna like Christ or Prabhupada. Now we are not detached. But we have to come to that platform. That's a question, how to do that?
Avoid judging in a way, then avoid assumptions.
Oh yeah, avoid assumptions, yeah, fine, but that's a universal answer, no? That's the answer for everything. Avoid assumptions. I want a specific answer for this. What's internal thing we should do to become humble?
Speak truthfully.
Truth. Then what's truth? And it complicates, no? That's okay. Answers are invited and it makes things more interesting.
Not satisfied with the service which I am doing, like I want to do more. Like,
yeah, maybe you're a little near to the point, fine. Coming to the point, yeah. So, okay, I'll just tell. How to attain humility? Impossibility to attain Krishna. This is, we have to always remember. Prabhupada says, Krishna is very strict. Even a slight attachment for this material world, one has to remain here. He does not allow anyone to enter his association who has any tinge of material conception of life. Now we tend to avoid these kind of statements. No? Krishna is very merciful. We like that. We tend to avoid this. No? But if we avoid this, we can never be humble. Because if you don't understand that it is impossible to attain Krishna, your heart will not cry, Krishna, I want you. I know it is impossible to attain you, but yet I want to attain you. This dilemma will melt your heart. Prabhupada says, like a child's crying. So Rupa goes, all our songs are based on this. And there's you sing this song by Rupa Goswami. There's one song, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. This is that song. This is that song. Oh Krishna, I know even Brahma and Shiva, they can't even perceive a ray of from the nail of your toe of lotus feet. But still, Yadyapi Madhava Vidhirapi na pashyati Tava nekha marichim idam pashyami, but still I'm coming to you because I've heard that you are very merciful. And in the hope against hope that I will attain you one day. This is a line by Rupa Goswami. What's that? Okay, yeah.
What is that song, Prabhu?
I got your point.
No. My dead body will lead by the
that Shringal Mahotsav Kariya, that song you're talking, Durlabha Manava Janma.
Durlabha Manava Janma.
Yeah, in the last it comes.
Yes, it's very humble.
Yeah, I got your point. No. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, that's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Durlabha Manava Janma. No, Bhajavadaman is different. So that is why I told you, Krishna gave us two eyes. Don't be just single-eyed. Krishna is merciful. We also have to remember Krishna is strict. Both things you have to remember. Otherwise, it's impossible to be humble. So that's why Baldev Bhushan writes here. When one finds himself unable to fulfill his heart's most cherished desire. What is a heart's desire? To attain Krishna and love of Krishna. And still is desperate to achieve his goal. His heart melts. This dilemma will produce humility. Your heart will melt by facing this duality. This duality of desire to attain him, but yet not able to attain him. So why we desire to attain him? Because we know he is merciful. Why we think we are not able to attain him? Because he is strict. You got this point? If you don't balance this, you're out. You can't be humble. It's impossible. At this point, feeling unworthy, he begins to experience humility. So don't be one-sided. Don't avoid. In ISKCON, there's a tendency to avoid these things. Krishna is very strict. No, why you say he's strict? He's very merciful. Okay, then don't hear. That's all. If you don't want to hear, if you want to delete things, see, whatever Prabhupada is writing, Prabhupada writes this, no? This is science of self-realization. This chapter. Prabhupada, why Prabhupada is writing this? Prabhupada writes one more quotation. I told that if you're not serious, there can be gap of millions of years. Prabhupada writes that. So why to avoid that? Prabhupada knows what he is talking. No? He could have avoided this. Okay, all these things will discourage devotees. So don't talk about these things. No, this is important to be humble. This is important. You have to balance all these things. Yeah, Mike, yeah, why not? Questions are welcomed.
This slightly touches here, but it means in Bhaktivedanta, Srila Haridas Thakur says that if one chants the holy name, even with Nambas, that is enough to give him liberation. And then he talks about how even Mlechas and Yavanas, they can get liberation.
Yeah, but that is enough to give liberation. But that is not enough to give love of God.
Okay. That's what, I thought so. It is referring to love of God, not just liberation, Okay.
So that's
liberation. Okay, I wanted to clarify that.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So the exalted mentioned, right? So, like we want to be humble, you want to become exalted, that's the previous point you mentioned. Can you elaborate a little more?
No, exalted I told, you have to understand the 3 points. If you have the 3 points, detached, accepting risk, and what was the third? Being opposed, submission to absolute truth. If we understand those 3 points, we are exalted. Internally. That's fun. And how to understand that? My question is how to get to that platform? By this. Otherwise we can't get to that platform. So impossibility to attain Krishna. Is it clear? This is nice. And second is separation. Real humility comes from separation, no? Separation from Krishna awoke various mellows of distress, of lamentation and humility. Thus Chaitanya Mahaprabhu spoke like a crazy man, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Chaitanya Charitamrita you should read all. Without Chaitanya Charitamrita, how you are living, I can't understand. I can't really understand. How you breathe without... It's impossible to be so enthusiastic without reading Chaitanya Charitamrita. To read. What? Today what is it? You're reading what? Oh, good. Like they're just reading like full? Okay, good. That's good. Okay. English. Bengali. Okay. Okay, good, yeah. Yeah, you should read Chaitanya Amrita, it's very nice. Yeah, Chaitanya Amrita should be the first book you should read. like in one sense, like Prabhupada says, first Gita, Bhagavatam, and then Chaitanya Amrita, that's a system. But when you heard many things, read Chaitanya Amrita. Because if you don't read Chaitanya Amrita, then how do you chant 𝗙𝗪 Krishna Chaitanya? You don't know who is he. And we are chanting, we can't even chant Gaura Arti, Jai Jai Gaya, Gaura Chandir. Who is Gaura Chandir? What is Gaura Chandir's achar and vichar? How he thinks, how he behaves. That we have to think.
Related to Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhu, I heard Chaitanya Charitamrita is the later half pastimes of Lord Chaitanya. So we should first learn the upper half, like Chaitanya Bhagavat first and then Chaitanya Charitamrita.
I know, just read it, that's all. By His mercy, we will. Because we all are devotees, no? We are chanting for many times, we are hearing. Just read that. This is from Antelila. How do you understand this if we don't read this? Just read, no problem. We are not going to become atheist. We might become sentimental, but if we read in proper perspective with philosophy, then no problem. It's good to read, no? Yeah, purports are there, yeah. Prabhupada purports are there to explain us, to guard us from going into other channels. Okay, separation. So, real humility comes. That is why separation is the need. Without separation, we can't be humble. Without humble, we can't please Krishna. Krishna likes humility. This is the first quality he likes, and the last quality he likes. So, that is what Mahaprabhu says, I've come to give you love in separation, which can fulfill all your desires. It said, no, it can fulfill all your desires. Oh, 𝗦𝗪𝗀𝗃𝗪𝗏. So what desires you want to fulfill? This desire. We want separation. Not anything else. It's not referring to anything else. So they can fulfill our desire. They can give us separation. This understanding. Okay, fine. Oh, time. It's like, okay. Oh, it's 2.5 hours we have been talking, huh? This is good. I can talk for 5 hours and you can also hear, no? It's interesting, no? It's interesting. Okay, sixth concept is 𝗪𝗪 Kritam. Now the point is, there's one problem if you are only humble. If you stop till there, you will face one problem. Can anybody tell what's the problem you will face? If you are humble, if you are obliged, just like I told you, if you don't understand humility, you will become proud. So one problem you will face, and the problem you will face is that only talking about Krishna and all those things, you raise this point. If we are humble, if we are truly humble, we can think I am humble. No? At least we will think I am humble. And that's a problem. If you think I am nothing, then you are something. Got my point? So, a devotee doesn't think I am humble. A devotee thinks I am proud, no? Krishna Consciousness Swami, what he says? If you are really humble, you will think I am proud. Got my point? Krishna Consciousness Swami says, I am the proudest person, I am useless, I think of myself, I am a bomb. So how to achieve that platform? Although you are humble, still you have to think you are proud. How to do that? How to do that? That's the point. And it seems contradictory, no? If you're humble, you're humble. And how to think you're proud, in spite of being humble? Either you have to speculate in your mind, okay, I'm humble, but I have to think I am proud. You can't do that. Krishna Consciousness Swami is really feeling I am proud. How he does that? That was the science behind that. And this is the next core concept, 𝗪𝗪 Kritam. This means insignificant, unimportant. This word is used by Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur in commentary in Bhagavad Gita. This word comes again and again. If you know Sanskrit. Oh, that song. 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪. This word. Yeah. So what this means? This means this. Okay, let me just quote you. In material, this is from Prabhupada. Sorry. In material concept of life, when one works for sense gratification, there is misery. But in absolute word, when one is engaged in pure devotional service, there is no misery. Actual liberation is getting free from misconceptions, of life. I told you illusion means misconception, assumption. Prabhupada says misconception of life. What is the misconception of life? Okay, fine, I am this body, I am not soul. Okay, fine, that's good, yeah. How to get rid of misconceptions of life? How to get rid of misconceptions? How to do that? So, you know this, by the way. You see there's a line there? So you got this point? Either you can erase that line or you can draw a bigger line. So the point is, the point is to get rid of misconceptions, don't get rid of them. You'll not be able to do that. Because ideas are reality. Ideas are not illusion. Once it's there in your mind, it is there. The concept is there, it is there. So what you have to do is, do not kill that concept. You'll not be able to do that. You have to see that concept from a higher reality. And then that concept will adjust in your mind. You got my point? So the point is, for example, I am this body. This is a misconception. Okay? So what you have to do is, I am this body. You have to look from a different perspective. Now we are looking at this perspective, I am this body, and we are accepting this concept. I am this body. And this is a misconception. But you have to understand, I am this body. This concept, why there is this misconception? Because of false ego or whatever, you can go behind that. So even after getting rid of this misconception, you remember, I am this, okay, I'm not this body. That's okay. This concept is wrong. There is some higher concept that I am spirit soul. You got my point? I'll just quote here. This is one verse, 2.59. By experiencing higher reality, you lose taste for lower reality. That's all. So suppose you fly in a plane, and you see houses, like they become small, and then when you are so high, they vanish. But they are not vanished, they are there. So ideas will be there, but you have to make them insignificant by getting higher ideas. That's all. That's all. Finish. So just like, for example, I am this body. That's okay, that's a misconception. But you have to get rid of this misconception by getting a higher idea, okay? What's a higher idea? Do something so that you forget this. I am this body. Don't deal with this. You got my point? You go in plane higher and higher, that houses vanish. So what to do? You become so absorbed in Krishna that you forget, I am this body. That's what Chaitanya Charitamrita says. Krishna smaran jar, deha vismriti nahi jar. Anybody who is absorbed in Krishna, he'll forget that I am this body. You cannot get rid of this concept logically. You have to forget it. You got my point? You have to forget this point like a plane. It will be there, but you have to forget it. That's okay. Just like, for example, sense enjoyment. You can't get rid of sense enjoyment, but you have to forget it. By getting taste in Krishna's service, slowly you'll forget it, no? So that's the point. You have to make those experiences, your concepts, insignificant by getting higher ideas. So like for example, I'll ask you one question. We face so many anxieties, isn't it? Our mind is stressed, anxiety, tensions. How to get rid of this anxiety and tensions? Tell me. How do we free of anxieties and tensions? How to do that? This is a genuine question, no? Oh, Deepak. Okay. The answer is this, tuchhi, insignificant. You make those anxieties insignificant. How? By taking higher anxieties. That's by taking higher anxieties. That's the point. This is the trick of insignificant. So if you have so much tension, this will happen, that will happen in life, that will happen. But if you have higher tensions, what about birth, death, disease, old age? That's a higher tension, no? So by that anxieties, we'll forget this anxiety. This will become very small, insignificant. For example, if you have a blade and if you cut your finger, okay, so it will pain. My God, so much blood, and suddenly a phone call comes, and they say your mother is killed, she's murdered. You remember this? That's a higher pain. To hell with my finger. You got my point? So that's point. So higher taste also means higher sorrows. By higher sorrow you can forget lower sorrows. By higher anxieties, low anxieties. And that is why this is the trick of doing that. Forgetting lower reality. You can't deal with that lower reality. It's impossible. That is there. Misconceptions are there. That's a reality. That's not illusion. For Mayavadis, it's an illusion. I am not this body. That's an illusion. So they can easily deal with that. But for its reality, it's always there. Just we can forget. You got my point? That is the concept of 𝗪𝗪𝗀.
Like in this context, like if you want to like interpret the feelings of our previous acharyas, like how they felt about themselves as a very insignificant soul, because you are telling like you are replacing something with higher thing so that you can.
Yes, so that's what I'm coming. Now this humility I was talking about. So we feel insignificant. We become humble. Sometimes you have to go to higher reality. We have to forget that we are humble sometimes. To go to higher levels. Because if you're always thinking, I am humble, you're thinking of yourself. You got my point? You're not thinking of Krishna. Sometimes that humbleness can absorb you and pull you down. Is it? I am humble. What about Krishna, bhai? Sometimes you have to forget Krishna and go to higher reality. You have to glorify. You have to understand how Krishna is humble. That's a higher reality. Don't be interested always in your humbleness. Understand how Krishna is humble, and then you will forget that you are humble. And when you compare Krishna's humbleness with your humbleness, then you will feel, I am so proud. Got my point? That's how that dilemma solves. What is my humility in front of Krishna's humility? I am so proud. Still I am so. That's how acharyas can feel. In spite of being humble, they can feel I am proud. This is the concept. That's why I was bringing this concept to 𝗪𝗪𝗀, insignificant. Okay? Anyway. This is about humility of Krishna. I was giving how Krishna is humble. This is one example for that. From Krishna Leela Stav. O Lord Krishna, because your devotees appealed for the flood of your own pure love, you performed rasa dance, dismissing your own ability to enjoy unlimitedly, without anyone's help, considering your own scriptural injunctions and insignificant. To 𝗪𝗪𝗀, insignificant. Krishna, for giving enjoyment to his devotees, he is so humble. He is ready to be called as bhogi by everybody. He is supreme enjoyer. That's bhogi. And many rishis criticize him. No? Many people don't accept him as God. Jains do not accept. Oh, he's enjoying. What kind of God he is? No? He knows there's a risk in that. Because people like to see God as supremely powerful, renounced, self-satisfied. Yeah, like Lord. So Krishna doesn't, Ras Leela and all. But he takes that risk to give love to his devotees. That is his humbleness. He can become defamed. Devotees understand devotees like to praise he's as bhogi, but many people do not. Yogis, jnanis, they don't. And that is why Krishna says, so 10 chapter, 2nd verse. What is the 2nd verse? 10 chapter? Quick. So 10 chapter, 2nd verse is, yeah. So 10 chapter, 2nd verse is, so it says, Nava vidu suragana, prabhavantina maharshaya, ahamaderi devana, maharshi nam sarvasha. Nobody knows me. Demigods, great rishis, they don't recognize me as I am, no? Because Krishna is acting like a bhogi. They become confused. So this is humbleness. You see, so Krishna is so humble. And in front of that, who are we? What is our humility, no? So that's the idea. This is very nice verse from... this I'll just leave it now. So, this is something about... I was telling, go to higher reality and make insignificant. This is like this. So Yamunacharya speaks that verse, whenever I think of lust, my lips curl. So it is not that he has forgotten, it is not that he has dealt with lust. It is there, but he has forgotten about that. The taste of lust, now he is feeling it as distaste, no? It has become a lower reality for him. Gopis, oh yeah, this is important, gopis fall down, yeah. Somebody asked Prabhupada, so this is from, so we have some series of like lectures by Prabhupada disciples, they are Prabhupada memories. In that one Prabhupada disciple, he asked Prabhupada, can gopis fall down from spiritual world? Prabhupada said yes. But then Prabhupada said they don't choose to fall down. The point is, tendency to sense gratify will always be there with us. It is a reality. Tendency to enjoy will always be there with us. Krishna wants to enjoy, that thing is there in us. We can't get rid of it. Maximum we can do is we can forget it. That is the reality. That is, we are not Mayavadis. And that's what Prabhupada says. So got that point, example? So we have to forget those things. Oh yeah, you have to finish. I'll just forget. I'll just go quickly, yeah. And then, should I finish or I'll just go quickly? Okay, fine. Okay. How to forget this concept of sense gratification? I told you have to forget this concept of sense gratification by getting higher taste, sweetness, by the concept of temporariness and miseries. This word is useless. We have to understand both. Krishna is nice, this material word is bad. If you understand only Krishna is nice, then things doesn't happen, you know. Because if you are, suppose for example, well, I'm just giving an example. If you are in India, many people come to America. Why? Because America is nice. But they also know India is bad. That is why. If America is nice, India is also nice, then why do we go to America? No? So you have to understand both. This material world is bad, spiritual world is good. Both things. Don't just discuss one thing. There's a tendency in devotees discussing about Krishna. But what about this word? This word is nonsense. You have to discuss about that again and again. And the concept of separation. Separation is the ultimate weapon by which we can forget sense gratification. Okay, anyway, so this is 𝗪𝗪 vichar, seer and the seen, 7th core concept. I'll go quickly, but I have a CD also. You can hear that CD on this seminar. You can buy that, take that. Because I think so you have to hear again and again all these things. It's not easy to. There's small space, huh? So you need more gigabytes. So we'll buy a laptop for more gigabytes. You need space. So 𝗪𝗪 vichar, this 7th, seer and the seen. What is this? So now if you have understood everything, and if you don't understand this, everything breaks down. Nothing, you can't understand anything. This is seer and the seen, 𝗪𝗪 vichar. So Bhakti Santa used to, Bhakti Vikasa Maharaj in his book Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, it's a full chapter. It's a full prakaranam in Rig Veda. Oh, by the way, should we announce, Deepak, now for people who are listening, like they're also going, like tomorrow we have a lecture?
4 to 5.
Okay, yeah, people who are on net also, and tomorrow Sunday we have a lecture 4 to 5. I'll be giving Sunday lecture. That's all. Because many 44 demigods, yeah. So if they fly off, then information for them. And okay, seer and the seen, I'll just quickly do because this concept is not just Bhakti Santa given, it is given by Prabhupada. It's not that Bhakti Santa cooked up and we are following Bhakti. Many people say, leave Bhakti Santa, what about Prabhupada? Prabhupada says this concept. Srimad Bhagavatam. The unalloyed intelligence and mind are merged into Lord, and thus living entity does not remain a seer himself but becomes a seen by the Lord transcendently. This is one quotation Prabhupada has mentioned many times. And this is one of the chapter in Rig Veda. This is one of the prakaranam in Vedas. Anybody who has to claim himself as Acharya, he has to write a commentary on this subject, seer and the seen. Shankaracharya, his whole philosophy is devoted to this. Okay, this is the evidence for that from Bhagavad Gita, seer and the seen. Krishna is the seer, we are the seen. Now we think we see and this word is to be seen, no? But we have to do it ulta. Krishna is seeing and we are to be seen. The evidence is in 13-14. Everywhere are his hand, legs, his eyes, his heads, he has ears everywhere. He sees and he hears. When we come in front of Krishna, we have to think Krishna is seeing me right through my soul. And then we'll become pure. We'll want to become pure. If we see, we are seeing Krishna only. We see Krishna, but more important is Krishna seeing us. Both things. So this is what is meaning of seer and the seen. We have to perceive the world through the eyes of Krishna. You have to learn how to see this material world through the eyes of God. See, Prabhupada says, Krishna conscious means constantly associating with Supreme Personality of Godhead in such a mental state that devotee can observe cosmic manifestation exactly as Supreme Personality of Godhead does. This is Prabhupada. It is not enough to see Krishna, his form, his qualities. We have to enter his mind and then see this world from his perception. You understand? So Krishna sees this world as temporary. That is why we see this world as temporary. We have to learn how Krishna perceives the situation. And how we learn? By entering his mind. How we enter his mind? Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is his mind. It's not a book. Krishna is opening his mind. And we have to go in that spirit. So sentimental people, they like to glorify his form, name, pastimes. Okay. That is sentimental. We also like to glorify his name, form, pastimes, but we are not sentimental. We also want to enter his mind and understand how he perceives this world. Okay. This is seer and the seen. This is the meaning of Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness means to be conscious of Krishna and also how Krishna is conscious of us. So the day when you can feel 24 hours that you are being remembered by Krishna, that day is perfection of life. It's not that we can remember Krishna 24 hours. That's a half thing. So this example I'll just leave now. And not only how Krishna sees us, but also how Krishna thinks and feels when he sees us. That's like more depth. How do you do that? You have to understand Krishna. You have to read about him. You have to read about him. You don't have to read about him. You have to drink him. That's what Bhagavatam says. 𝗙𝗶𝗪 Bhagavatam Rasamalayam. You have to understand who is God. You have to again and again read books by acharyas. This is Krishna book Prabhupada is giving. Nectar of Devotion. Again and again. Enter that spirit. Otherwise, everything will become bad. Okay? I just forget this. Let's go forward. I have told this. Last point is samanvay, harmonize. So, I've talked about so many things. Many things are contradictory. When you go to higher levels, it seems he's strict, he's merciful, then you go high. And so you have to harmonize all these things by proper wisdom. Otherwise, we'll become confused. That is what is samanvay. You have to become sargrahi. Sargrahi means take the essence. Not baharvai. Don't burden. Baharvai means burden yourself with knowledge. That's not the point. Extract the essence. Harmonize. Extracting essence means harmonizing contradictions. He's strict, merciful. How is it? That point. So there are many if you advance, Prabhupada says in Chaitanya Charitamrita, as you advance, you will face contradictions. Prabhupada says that. And you have to face them. And harmonize them with proper association of devotees. Okay, so we have reached Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Thank you very much for listening to this seminar. 8:30, 9:30, 10. Oh, how much time we have been speaking? Like
7:30.
8 o'clock we started.
Yes. Brahma Shemitah.
Oh, did you get bored of or what?
No.
Still demigods are there?
Yeah, 44 plus.
Still they are there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, good. I can impress demigods also. Okay, so these are my sites. You can log on to these sites. Tomorrow anyway, I'll be giving lecture, 4 to 6, Sunday feast. I'll bring cards. If anybody wants visiting cards, you can have. You can log on to this site, Pure Devotee. This is for devotees. And more lectures, more seminars for devotees. These are other sites. Science of Gita is also for devotees. We are talking about Gita and other things there. And this is my mail. If there's any query, I'll be happy to give answers if I know. And again, thank you very much for tolerating me. Hare Krishna.
Can we take one small set, like any questions from online or here?
Yeah.
Haribol, anybody joining online? They can, and if you have any questions, maybe after Guru Puja we can still try to contact. Number is 949-981-4976. If you want to SMS, or you can
Mighty Efforts and Crazy Ideas.
Reach us here through audio conference.
And also Viva, can you give me my CD and book? So we have some CDs, people who are hearing online and here. And this English, is this seminar, what I am presenting, it is there in this CD, Core Concepts of Devotional Service. If you have missed, if you want to hear again in more details with references, that's okay. So this CD is there, you can buy it tomorrow when you come on Sunday, and you can hear it again and again. This is a book, Mighty Efforts, where I have written all these concepts, not exactly core concepts, but the essence is there of these. You can read this. We have this book, Crazy Ideas for Preachers, and Cheaters and the Cheated, which Prabhupada often used to say. Everybody is cheating us. How they are cheating us, we have to understand. And why they are cheating us, why? This is the question. And perhaps we are cheating ourselves, maybe. So you can take these books tomorrow, Sunday, after Sunday program. Thank you very much for listening. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.